Welcome to the NCAA Men's College World Series, presented by Capital One. It is day one at this sports carnival in America's heartland, and the primetime matchup tonight pits two programs that have been mainstays here the last 20 years, but had to fight to get back. Projected top 10 pick Iva Arquette and Oregon State had to navigate a schedule unlike any in the country, while Eddie King Jr. and the Louisville Cardinals went through dark times as a program on the road back to Middle America. This is Game 2 to begin the Men's College World Series, and Game 1 was tightly played. Sebastian Alexander and the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina, 2016 national champs, they've won 24 games in a row after a win over Arizona. 8 teams are here, 4 played today, 4 more tomorrow, double elimination within each bracket. And then the bracket winners next Saturday in a best of 3. With all that, we say hello and thanks for joining us. Alongside Kyle Peterson and Chris Burke, I'm Mike Monaco. Chris Budden joins us in a moment. Amazingly, our 8-team field does not have a single team that was here last year. And guys, as far as conferences go, this is about as diverse a field as you could have. So what do we expect?
This gets good. I mean, the pack is back. So we got the Bruins, we got Oregon State, we got Arizona here. Blue Bloods are here. The boys in teal haven't lost since April. And Murray State shows again that a 4 seed can make the run to it. It's the home of college baseball, right where we should be this time of year, and we're ready for it.
And we've got first-round talent all over the place as well. And Berkey, let's start with Iva Arquette. He is 6'5" at shortstop and a top 10 prospect.
Yeah, we always have stars here in Omaha, but none are brighter than Iva Arquette, one of the top prospects of all the position players in college baseball. He can give you a little bit of everything. He'll hit the ball at the ballpark, plays a top shelf defense, and he is one of the leaders of this team. Even though he's a transfer, he is the reason, one of the main reasons why they find themselves back in Omaha.
Yeah, he has led the Beavers in his 1 year with them back here, and they go up against Louisville to start things off. Louisville, for a number of years, they were mainstays here in Omaha. And Dan McDonald, the last time here in 2019, said, we'll be back. It took 6 years to get back to this point.
Well, he kind of spoiled us, and I think he spoiled their fan base a little bit too, because before Dan McDonald got there, Louisville didn't come here. But since he's been there, we're used to them ending their season here at some point. However, last couple years have been a little bit different. Missed the tournament 3 of the last 4 years, but this year back. Not sure if a couple weeks ago we thought they would be here. This is one of the reasons why. Eddie King Jr. came back. And when he came back, ultimately, he has led this Louisville team to a postseason run and a spot in Omaha yet again.
He's in the lineup, and we've got a heck of a pitching matchup as well. Louisville junior Patrick Forbes went soaring up draft boards. He goes opposite one of the best freshman pitchers in the country in Dax Whitney next.
Welcome back to the Men's College World Series. This Oregon State team has traveled over 23,000 miles across the country, and a few of those miles went right past this ballpark. After their series against Nebraska, head coach Mitch Cannon told the bus driver on the way to the airport, hey, make a little detour past Charles Schwab. He got over the microphone, told the bus, hey boys, look outside, because that's where we'll be in a couple months. The whole idea, if you want to believe it, you have to see it.
It wasn't that I necessarily said, hey, we're going to drive past the stadium. I made an announcement on there. I said, now it's time to visualize yourself being there.
They said we'll be back in a few weeks, so I remember that. I'm like, heck yeah.
I think it definitely set like a milestone for us that, hey, this is what we want to do.
We're going to be back here. Like, that's the goal, so now we're here.
If you're not even willing to visualize holding the trophy, then you're missing out, because there's power to those things.
Cannon would not let the bus driver stop. None of the guys got out to take pictures because he was adamant. You'll have plenty of time to do that when we're here this summer.
And here they are, Chris, and a guy in Mitch Canham who knows this place at the highest level quite well. Won the Men's College World Series here with the Beavers as their catcher, of course, in 2006 and 2007. And KP, he's got a freshman arm going in Dax Whitney from Blackfoot, Idaho, who turned down more than $3 million in the draft to come here.
Population 12,999 in Blackfoot, Idaho. There'll be more than that in the ballpark tonight. He was playing Legion Ball this time last year. Now he's turned into an ace as a freshman. It's a mid-90s fastball that'll live at the top of the zone. Slider primarily behind it, but for Whitney, as the season was going on, and he was famous when he showed up. Everybody knew he had a chance to potentially do this, but over the season, he has worked his way into being their real ace.
He faces this Louisville lineup brought to you by Capital One, an offense that was 5th in the ACC in runs per game. And Lucas Moore right there leads the country, Berkey, in steals.
Is 51 for 52 pretty good? I would say so. Yeah, Lucas Moore, one of the most dynamic leadoff hitters in the country. You better get him out or you're going to have your hands full trying to keep him from swiping second base.
Well, here we go. Coastal Carolina won another one earlier today. We've got 4 more slated to go tomorrow with Murray State, UCLA, and then a huge one tomorrow night. LSU and Arkansas, and a pretty good one as well on this first night at the Men's College World Series. Lucas Moore and the Cardinals, 40 wins. They went 15-15 in the ACC. They were a 2 seed in the Nashville Regional. They outlasted the #1 overall seed Vandy there. Won a home super last weekend against fellow ACC foe Miami. Moore's in the box. Dax Whitney off and running with a heater at 94 for strike 1. Within a month of the start of this season, Dax Whitney turned 19 years old. And a weekend starter for a top 10 team. Got off to a great start to this year. D1 Baseball had him as the mid-season top freshman in the country, and his highs have been really good. 1-2.
It's a little different arm action than maybe you're used to seeing from a power arm. Kind of throws it like a catcher a little bit. It's a short, abbreviated swing, but obviously doesn't affect the velocity. He's shortened up a little bit as this season has gone on, but he wants to live at the top of the zone with that fastball.
Ball, that's outside.
Just misses with a fastball there to make it 2-2.
All heaters so far. It's about 2/3 on the season from a fastball usage standpoint. So Louisville's going to have success against Whitney. They're going to have to hit the heater.
Breaking ball nearly hits Lucas Moore, and it's a full count on the speedy leadoff man. Freshman on this stage, representing his Oregon State fan base here in Omaha. Against the first team all ACC center fielder. 3-2. Moore strikes out on the fastball up. And Dax Whitney's got a K to start in Omaha.
And that's where he wants to live with that fastball. Just up and out of the zone. He's going to stay right there. Fastball average 94 miles an hour. 2 different breaking balls, a curveball and a slider. Velocity difference will tell you. And a changeup that he started to throw a little bit more towards the end of the year. And for the freshman, he's kind of continued to grow over the course of it. Last 4 starts have probably been his best 4 in a row. Strikeout to walk ratio about 4-1.
Goes with the off speed and drops one into the junior catcher for Louisville, Matt Klein, a Louisville native who went to Trinity High School. OPS better than 1,000, and only his 19th start behind the plate this year because he missed basically 2 full months when he got hurt in late March. Got hit by a pitch right near the wrist on his glove hand. So top hand hitting. And boy, they missed him. And boy, they've been happy to have him when he's been back.
Yeah, you can see he's wearing the pad on that bottom hand right now. And he's arguably their most valuable player. You look at the record when he's in the lineup, the record when he's out of the lineup. It'd be hard to make a case for anybody above him. Not to mention the way the staff, sometimes we think about Matt Klein, we think about the bat. But the way the staff has performed when he's been behind the plate is night and day.
Jake Monroe, his teammate, was telling us Matt Klein's the glue guy. Said the record's insane. Breaking ball from Dax Whitney, and he's got a couple of Ks to start.
How about a 20-mile-an-hour difference between the curveball? He threw the change just before that. Fastball's been into the mid-90s, and this is the old school top-to-bottom 73-mile-an-hour curveball. Pretty fastball heavy to start. Kind of showed a little bit of everything right there with a strikeout of Klein.
The old 12-6er KP. Bring
Still
it back.
Still exists.
Dax was telling us yesterday, by accident, he threw one at 69 in the Supers in Corvallis. 73, a real blazer to get Klein. And now Jake Monroe, who goes up to the 3 spot. Junior third baseman from Champaign, Illinois, and a JUCO transfer who is second on this team with that OPS. A dozen home runs. He had a big super. That's a good curveball again. It's 0-2.
This is a problem if you're in that Louisville dugout. You're going, oh no, he's landing the breaking ball. And KP, you said it, 20 miles an hour difference. You just don't see that a whole bunch in the modern game.
This one popped up into shallow left. Gavin Turley calls off Iva Arquette. And hello, Dax Whitney. Welcome to the Men's College World Series. 1, 2, 3, and no problem. On day one and night one, game number 2. Stick around, should be a blast.
Scrappy blue-collar Oregon State became the darlings of Omaha because they hadn't been here in more than 50 years. They were a novelty, but that was 2 decades ago. This is their 7th trip since 2005, and 3 times they've won it all. That's no novelty, that's royalty.
And Ryan McGee, their first time back in Omaha since the 2018 National Championship season. We check out the Oregon State batting order, brought to you by Capital One. Second most home runs this year in program history, including a half dozen from Trent Carraway in the tournament.
Yeah, he matched his season total in the postseason. He now has 12 on the season, has been on a heater, and that's why he finds himself in the leadoff spot. A little different look from the 1 spot for the Beavers than the Cardinals.
Oregon State is facing Patrick Forbes, Jr. from Bowling Green, Kentucky, who is 43rd on our ESPN MLB draft rankings.
You wear number 1 on the bump, you better have a pretty good fastball, and this kid's got it. It's mid-90s again. Top of the zone is where he's going to stay. Can he get the chase? Can he get the chase just up and out of the zone? Because if Forbes gets offenses to do that, 2 things happen. They don't put it in play, and he strikes a bunch of guys out. It's that pitch just up and out of the zone that'll be worth watching tonight.
Dax Whitney was pretty good at the top of the first, and now Patrick Forbes for the home half. Trent Carraway in the box, and there's gas at 97 to the glove side.
Okay.
Let's have some fun tonight.
All right, then.
Trent Carraway on a home run heater, sophomore from Dana Point, California. Top 100 draft prospect as well, according to our Kylie McDaniel. He's gone with a new swing in the box, a 2-hand finish instead of a 1-hand finish the last month. Felt
like he was getting a little reachy, maybe not quite as quick to the ball, as short to the ball as they would like him to be, and so he's gone with a 2-handed finish. It's tightened his turn, meaning he's a little more sudden to the baseball, and he's been more on time, which has led to the explosion that we've seen here this postseason.
Kyle Peterson, question for you right off the hop. Okay. What percentage of pitch communication device issues happen in like the first 5 pitches of an outing?
Tends to be pretty quick. We didn't used to have to worry about that, Mike Monaco. It was a pretty direct process. They put numbers down, you shook yes or no, and then you threw a pitch. But he crossed him up there?
No way he crossed him up and he caught it that easy.
I don't think so.
That would be
Klein
impressive.
Immediately pointed. Yeah. He'd been pretty good. But yeah, you're right, Monaco. It usually happens right away.
That's a new record.
New batteries. Who forgot to put the new batteries in?
Can we get charged up? I think so. Here's the 3rd pitch from Forbes. At the knees at 96.
I think he would like to repeat that one. That is no fun if you're a right-handed hitter.
It is a unicorn fastball, in the words of his pitching coach, Roger Williams, with us earlier today. That's yanked outside, 2-2 on Carraway. We talked about Dax Whitney on the big stage. You feel like the adrenaline and how Forbes handles this is going to be really key tonight. His 2-2. Swing and a miss. 97 to fan Carraway.
All right, so you want to hit at the Division I level. Have fun with this cat. Slider's outstanding. The fastball is special, and we've already seen it. It's primarily those 2, and it's pretty much all you're going to see tonight. It's going to be a whole lot of fastballs. Kind of a shorter arm action, not quite as short as we see from Whitney, but still not that long, extended swing that we were used to seeing for years from power pitchers, but yet that thing gets on you in a hurry.
He's really good against righties, and there are 8 of them in Oregon State's lineup, including Iva Arquette, the star shortstop we spotlighted off the top, dealing with these shadows.
Yeah, you got to deal with 97, a wipeout slider, and the ball changing colors on you 3 times as it gets to home plate. So hang with them early. Dig in. This is real dude versus real dude right here. Arquette versus Forbes.
Arquette, the junior from Hawaii, who transferred in from Washington. There's the good slider you just mentioned, KP.
So long that looked like a fastball. It's not breaking right out of his hand. It was late. It's probably breaking once it gets into the shadow. So it's even tougher for Arquette to recognize spin.
We give you the 1-2 from Upcam. Swing and a miss. 98 up the ladder, and it's a couple of Ks for Patrick Forbes.
You can almost hear the seams from up here because it is spinning when it gets to home plate. Both these guys want to do the exact same thing. Take that fastball, throw it in the upper third of the zone, and see if you can get guys to go a little bit higher. After the wipeout slider before, the fastball gets Arquette swinging.
With Forbes and his fastball, we asked his teammate Ethan Eberle the other day, just give me a word to describe Patrick Forbes' fastball. He said, in all caps in his voice, electric. There's another fastball. This is 97 poured in to Gavin Turley, left fielder in the 3 spot from the mountains of Midway, Utah, second on the team in OPS. And the all-time leader in program history with 52 home runs. 19 of them this year. No swing on appeal down the line to first at Jeff Head.
That's the one you have to take.
Yes.
You have to lay off that one. You have no chance with that ball just above the zone, and that was a nice job there by Turley to put the brakes on late.
Turley's a third-year starter at Oregon State. 14 home runs as a freshman and 19 last year for Turley. 47 wins for this Oregon State team. The number 8 national seed had to come out of the losers bracket in their regional. Oh, just a nasty breaking ball.
That is what I would call a sweeper right there. I mean, this thing is going sideways, folks.
Whifflish. I mean, it looks like the old school wiffle balls that just move in ways that you don't think they actually can physically. That one just did.
2-2. Turley lays off that one. Yeah, it is easy to dream on Patrick Forbes, a guy who was a two-way player and now is all pitching.
He had 4 starts coming into the year. I mean, he's still a puppy when it comes to being on the mound, but yeah, he can do some things that most can't.
Turley on a hop to short at Alex Alicea. And 1-2-3 for Patrick Forbes to counter Dax Whitney. We got a good one underway on this Friday night in Omaha. The NCAA Men's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by USAA, proudly serving the military community and their families. Brett Lauder and Paul Skeens a couple years ago here in Omaha was spectacular. And Chris Budden, who among these was watching that game?
Yeah, it's one of the reasons Dax Whitney is actually here today when he was deciding whether or not he wanted to go to the MLB or go in the draft or go to college. He was here with a travel ball team sitting behind the bullpen for that incredible pitching matchup, and he was watching Paul Skeens warm up. He told his parents, he was like, yeah, I want to be a part of that. It was actually a very mature outlook. He said, listen, if I get drafted, I'm going to spend time either in Arizona or Florida still developing, or I can do that and be a part of a team and have a moment like this.
Oh, so cool. And then just 2 short years later, he's here on this mound.
He looks pretty comfortable on this mound right now, too.
Agree.
Facing the senior Eddie King Jr., who lays off a high fastball, and it's 2-1. King from Illinois, team leader in OPS, second team All-ACC. Staple in this program.
One of the neat stories, a team that missed the tournament last year, and Eddie thought he was going to be drafted, wasn't drafted, decided to come back for his senior year. And we talked about Matt Klein maybe being the MVP. Well, when Matt Klein goes out and there's a broken forearm with their catcher, Coach McDonald calls in a group of leadership, Eddie King being right in the middle, and said, this is your time. This is time for you to show why you came back. And since then, he has been on a heater that has led them to this point.
Just looked him square in the eye and said to Eddie, we know what you can be at your best. Go do it.
And he has. I mean, from that point on, he's been outstanding.
Since the middle of May, he's 20 for his last 36, hitting at a 545 clip.
2-2 from Whitney. Swing and a miss with a buckling curveball and a third K for Dax Whitney.
And he showed you both the breaking balls in that at bat, too. It was a slider earlier, then he comes back with that slow curveball that doesn't have a whole lot of horizontal, but it's got a lot of top to bottom. velocity difference is hard for guys to wait back long enough, and then the break is enough to get it off the barrel. Freshman's now struck out 3 of the first 4 he's faced.
King's out number 1 in the second, and now Garrett Pike, senior right fielder from Ohio and a transfer from Toledo, where he was an All-American last year and had 21 home runs, and he is a very aggressive bat for Louisville.
Yeah, he's going to get his swings off. 42 home runs in his career at Toledo. The power hasn't quite come, but it's still an impact bat.
Oh, that's outside.
Certainly a mature presence in the middle of this order.
For Dan McDonnell in his 19th season, you go back to when he was hired, 4th most wins of any program in the country.
How about this? In 19 years, they've won 40 games 14 times. They had never won 40 before he took the job. He's done it 14 out of 19.
And he has led them here for a 6th time. Whitney's 1-2. Pike strikes out, and this is sick from Dax Whitney. 4 Ks already.
He's really feeling that one now, because he's throwing it at a higher clip than he usually does. Over the course of the season, it's been more sliders than curveballs from Dax Whitney, but today it's kind of been the flip of it. He's feeling that slower curveball. 4 strikeouts all swinging so far for the freshman.
Said he's had that curveball for a while, but his pitching coach, he was telling us, Rich Dorman, played a big part in really fine-tuning that pitch. Rich Dorman was saying to us this morning, Dax Whitney got the hang of it in about 2 weeks and really solidified that curveball. 3 of his 4 Ks on the curve for Rich Dorman. So 2 outs, bases empty, and this is Zion Rose. Takes a strike. Sophomore from Chicago, was first team All-ACC and top 10 in the conference in RBIs. Had a great freshman season. Swung it well again this year too. A catcher turned outfielder, and he's now 1-2.
And you're getting a look at the talent of this Louisville batting order when you got a guy like Zion Rose hitting in the 6 hole, this kind of power, this kind of speed, this kind of presence. That's why Louisville's been able to put up the offensive numbers they've been able to and get hot and win these meaningful games down the stretch. It's just a tough lineup to navigate. Now, don't tell Whitney that. He's feeling pretty comfortable.
Yeah,
but
navigation's working okay so far.
MapQuest is turned on for Dax Whitney. His 2-2 to Rose. Swing and a miss. 5 Ks for Dax Whitney on the big stage at the Men's College World Series, and he strikes out the side in the second.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. 5 of the first 6 that he's faced have gone down swinging. A lot of them on that curveball right now. Pretty good start for the kid on the mound.
First day at the Men's College World Series, and a gorgeous and warm Friday night. How about this new camera as well? The Supra cam we've got going.
Been taking 33 a lot. Just let it zip right down the line.
The Eddie cam.
That is the 33rd of the 41 cameras we have here in Omaha at Charles Schwab Field. Kyle Peterson, Chris Burke, Chris Budden, Mike Monaco, our whole crew with you. Wilson Weber, the catcher, the senior in the cleanup spot, leads off for the Beavers against Patrick Forbes. 2-0 on Weber, an Oregon native. 3rd on the team in OPS. This is his first year as the full-time guy. He was splitting some time with Tanner Smith, who transferred away to Miami. Who battled against Louisville in that super that went 3 games. Both these teams had to go 3 in their supers last weekend. Oregon State got past Link Jarrett's Florida State team. Chase there, 2-2.
Another one?
Yeah, Weber's emergence from a power standpoint, a big reason why this Oregon State team has had such a complete season offensively, especially hitting the long ball.
2-2 to him. Perfect with 96. And it's 3 Ks for Patrick Forbes in the first 4 that he's faced.
Chris, I think he was looking slider. That would appear to be the move right there. After he got him swinging on the slider before, this is pumped right down the middle at 96. And not a lot of movement right there from Weber.
Yeah, and these hitters have a tall task, even if it was perfect hitting conditions with the stuff both these guys are featuring. But when you factor in the shadows right now, it is not fun to be hitting.
And Forbes pours in another strike to A.J. Singer. And again, Forbes being on this stage, former two-way guy, only pitched 9 innings as a freshman. Spent a lot of time batting in the middle of the lineup, playing the outfield. Then got injured last year in his 1 plate appearance. And he's healthy and starting here today. And he told us the other day, if you would have told me I'm starting game 1 in Omaha my junior year, I probably wouldn't have believed you. He's ahead on Singer, the junior from Glendale, Arizona. Up and away. Patrick Forbes 1-2. Outside 2-2 on Singer. Pretty good week for A.J. Singer. He turned 21 on Tuesday, and now 3 days later plays in Omaha. Junior college transfer not far from here at Iowa Western. Wants to be a coach. Flares this one behind first. Tank Davis goes back into foul ground and runs it down for out number 2.
Do it, youngster. Known for the bat, but has started to develop a reputation with the glove here down the stretch. That was pretty nifty. Pretty nifty from the power hitting first base. At first you got to track it. It always slices back towards the field as you approach it. And see, that one just stayed in. All's well that ends well.
Hang with him.
Yeah, that's right. That's why you have a big glove over there.
2 down, bases empty, and this is Tice Peterson. DH in the 6th spot from Kirkland, Washington. This guy's been dealing with really bad shin splints. Mitch Canham, his head coach, was telling us earlier today. And it's just fighting through a ton to be in the lineup and post. 1-1 on Peterson. Peterson had some big moments in elimination games in the regional against TCU, St. Mary's, and USC to get here. Nasty from Forbes.
Well, both coaching staffs were interested to see how their talented right-handers were going to handle the moment. I think they're both feeling pretty good about it right about now. It has not only been explosive stuff, but a strike-throwing fest as well.
1-2. Moment met so far from both these guys. A K-strut from Patrick Forbes, and he has fanned 4.
I think the boys brought the good stuff on both sides today. Fastball's been mid-90s, and then come back with this thing. Back-to-back sliders. Forbes has struck out 2 in the first, 2 in the second. A couple of scoreless innings to start. We will talk. Former champion of this, and now the head coach of Oregon State, Mitch Canham. We get back.
College World Series presented by Capital One. Joined now with Mitch Canham. Been pretty special stuff from your pitcher. We see the stuff. What is it about the mental makeup for him that he's been his best on the biggest moments as a freshman?
Yeah, I think he was born with that and just continued to mold himself into a champion. Just the way he handles adversity. As soon as he stepped on, you're safe. As soon as he stepped on campus, and I felt like even before that, he had such a good rapport with all the guys around him and respect given because that guy works extremely hard. He cares about the guys around him, extremely humble. I mean, that's the guy anyone would want in their clubhouse all the time.
Pretty special matchup on both sides. You mentioned to me off camera about the shadows, but what adjustments do you need at the plate against Patrick Forbes?
Well, making sure that we're seeing the ball before we start to swing at it would be important. Staying short because he's obviously, both guys got really good stuff, breaking balls that really got bite to them and heaters that jump. And so it's, for me, I think that we're going to have to stay short to the baseball, not try to do too much. You get big at all, or you get underneath it, you're not going to have any success. So getting on top of the baseball, trying to punch line drives to start until you start getting a rhythm, and then open it up a little bit.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Chris, thank you. Here you go. Tank Davis went around on a breaking ball, and he strikes out. And Dax Whitney has fanned 6 so far of the 7 that he has faced.
So, Berkey, is this one of those nights when the stuff on both sides is this good, where you just got to pick one? I mean, we're either going to sell out for a heater, or we're going to sell out for a break. You got to pick one because it feels like, at least now, first time through the order, that if you're up there thinking at all, you got no chance.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing two offenses that, for the most part, have been really, really good all year long. Not only dealing with elite arms, but they're not seeing the baseball very well at all. That is clear by the number of swings and misses. We're seeing uncomfortable swings and misses.
That's what Mitch Canham said. You got to see it first.
Helpful.
Usually.
It does, yes. New hitting philosophy.
This is Alex Alicea, the sophomore shortstop. A ball and a strike on Alicea. And so we mentioned Whitney turned down a lot of money to come to the college game. He was telling us the other day it was all about his money because he really wanted to be in college baseball. And so he set a very high number, and if someone was going to get there, great, but otherwise he was going to be very content being a Beaver.
Well, and what we've seen, I would say more so in the last 5 years than we ever saw before, is when you sign out of college, you get there quick if you're ready for it.
On the ground sharply, but right at A.J. Singer, who handles 2 down, and the swing and miss stuff's been good for Dax Whitney.
Yeah, this will work when you strike out 6 of the first 7. That usually means it's coming out of your hand okay. The fastball is electric, but this has been the difference maker so far. 20-mile-an-hour difference at top to bottom curveball that he's thrown to both righties and lefties. He's thrown it more today to righties than he has historically over the course of the year, but he's really had control of all of them.
I think the most impressive thing, a lot of those pitches would finish as strikes.
Yeah.
Those are not all chase out of the zone swings and misses. And that's when you know that the deception of the difference between heater and breaking ball speed and the amount of vertical break is really full in this Louisville lineup.
Kamayu Neighbors now sprays one into left, but Gavin Turley hangs with it through the sun. He says, wow, to Cannon Reeder, his center fielder. And Dax Whitney is perfect thanks to Turley the first time through.
Yeah, if you're going to play left field at the Chuck, you got to deal with the sun. Hang in there, Mr. Turley. Well done.
Men's College World Series, Omaha, Nebraska. Warren Morris immortalized for the most famous swing you could imagine in a championship setting. On a gorgeous Friday night at Charles Schwab Field. Oregon State's third baseman Trent Carraway was saying to us the other day, this place is like Disneyland. And they have all made it here. We've got 8 teams. This is game 2. Double elimination format within the 2 brackets. 2 champs emerge in a best-of-3 series that starts next Saturday. We don't have a base runner yet in this game. This is Jacob Craig, a hulking figure, first baseman in the 7th spot against Patrick Forbes. 13 home runs for Craig, one of the heroes in the Super in game 1 against Florida State, and Corvallis at a jumping scene at Goss Stadium last weekend. Had a game-tying hit in game 1. Another look from Umpcam with Angel Campos.
Ball.
That's just down 2-1. We did say 41 cameras, including that one. Forbes has been locked in, much like Dax Whitney. 2-1 to Craig. That's down 3-1.
Yeah, those 2 scenes last weekend were pretty special. I mean, Goss sets a single game attendance record. We had dogs on rooftops watching the Louisville game. And other humans as well, but a unique way to watch the game.
At times, at and beyond Jim Patterson Stadium in Louisville, shirts were optional as well.
Yes, that's right.
They had the ladder truck at one point. They just parked it right on the overpass, and all the firemen got out and start watching the game.
Nothing screams a good time in college than your shirt off on the roof, watching a ball game.
Yeah, I've said that so many times. It always ends well for me.
This comes up and in and hits Jacob Craig, and lo and behold, folks, we've got a base runner. About 40 minutes into this one, Craig is on as he wears 95.
Somebody check that baseball. That is a grown man. He just wore that 95 and didn't blink on his way to first base. But Mitch Canham tells us he thinks legitimately he could enter the world's strongest man competition. He fits the profile.
Remember watching those on our family of networks, like Bandersky, Samuelson, and Craig, 6'5", 241. Cannon Reeder squared. It's a strike out of the 8th spot. The center fielder with Craig aboard.
Magnus Magnuson.
There you
Wasn't
go.
that one of them?
Reeder is the junior from Bend, Oregon. He had a huge swing in the Supers. Game 3 in the 1st inning against Florida State. And off Wes Mendez when Reeder sent one 404 feet, and that place went into delirium. They were just happy to see home baseball games in Corvallis as well, because there were not a lot of them, as Chris Budden told you earlier.
They decided to lose the first game of the regional just to give their home fans a few more games.
That was kind of.
Yes.
0-2. Reeder on the ground gently at second. Kamayu Neighbors flips. Alex Alicea's turn in time for 2.
Oh, that's how you draw it up right there. You know, Dan McDonald has got a grin on his face because that is as slick as a 4.63 as you will see. Off the end of the bat on a slider, Kamayu with a quick backhanded flip, and then Alicea with a short transfer and plenty of arm. And again, Teg Davis on the back end showing you that flexibility. This young man will get after it over there at first base, and the Cards flashing some leather here early in this one.
So 2 down, bases empty, and now the 9th spot in the right fielder, Easton Talt from Everett, Washington, who has worked a ton of walks this season. He was in there the first 2 games of the Super Regional and then didn't play in the 3rd game. But Mitch Canham said to us today, we'll get him back in there and run him out. Of course, it was a left-on-left against Florida State's lineup last weekend with 3 lefties in the starting rotation for the Seminoles. Perky, we've talked about the shadows. Is it harder to hit spin or fastballs when you're dealing with all of it?
Yes, I'd say if it's 96 with carry or a big-time breaking ball, it just because you're so in between. And KP talked about it earlier. Should I sit one of them? Yes, you should. But then you still got to be able to identify a ball and a strike. And I think where both these guys are making it tough is the hitters feel like they have to cheat, and that's why you're seeing some pretty bad swings and misses on off-speed pitches.
I think it should be mandatory that you design stadiums like this, where you have like 4 innings of shadows to start.
Did you know that the fans like runs, Kyle? They
come a little bit later. Okay. I mean, now we can talk about the athletes for an hour or so, and then we'll see if the offense shows up.
Patrick Forbes ready with another 1-2 to Talt, and that runs up and away. Told you Forbes has soared up MLB draft boards this season. Really started the first month of the year, and the coaching staff for the Cards thinks the best is still in front of this kid. Strike 3 called. Backdoor breaking ball and 5 strikeouts for Patrick Forbes. We told you this was going to be good with both these arms. Forbes has fanned 5, 9 up, 9 down with a double play, and Dax Whitney is perfect through 3. 6 Ks, he's back on the bump next. Hitting on the way at the Men's College World Series, and no score between Louisville and Oregon State because of Patrick Forbes. Minimum batters faced, first time through the order for both him and Dax Whitney, and they have combined for 11 strikeouts.
Golly, we thought Skeens and Louder were good. What do we got, folks?
Second time through the order, and how about a changeup to start?
Yeah, I got one of those too. Just in case you're wondering, we got one of those. It's the new school kick change that Dax Whitney's thrown.
And then drops in the curveball. KP, please give me everything you know about the kick change.
The kicks, and then there's velocity difference is what creates the changeup off of it.
It kicks and it changes?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Hence the kick change. Hi.
Dotted fastball and 7 strikeouts for Dax Whitney. He's been pretty good.
So we got to go inside baseball a little bit. When we were doing yes, you never know when you're going to need it. When we were doing the Knoxville regional a couple of weeks, I heard guys talking about this kick change.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the game, I just pull it up on YouTube, trying to figure out exactly what it looks like coming out of somebody's hand. And Old Michael J. Monaco over there has got to go Vince Scully for about an inning because I got to learn the kick change in the middle of it.
Deep dive mid-broadcast.
Yeah,
why not?
A little different look.
But now we have an expert, folks,
right.
and you in America are better off for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately, it's got a little bit of a, knuckle move to it when you let it go, but you're trying to throw it as hard as you possibly can.
There was again.
There's a kick change right there.
That's it. Low spin.
Yes.
Low spin, and trying to get that thing to die a little bit.
Watch. See, he gets wide on it, so spreads all those hands out, but then his index finger, not quite knuckles, but it kind of digs into the baseball a little bit, and he extends that index finger at release.
He's facing Matt Klein here after Lucas Moore struck out. And Whitney's 2-1. It's hit foul.
Oh, it doesn't look much different to start the fourth here, but over the course of the season, second time through the order, the OPS is about 125 points higher versus Dax Whitney. So let's see if there is any fatigue here from this red-hot start.
No swing on a peel down the line.
You know, sometimes these guys come out so sharp, but there's also a rush of adrenaline that can fade as you get into the middle innings.
Patrick Forbes trying to stay loose. 3-2 from Whitney. And a strikeout with the kick change.
Berkey, break it down for me.
Yeah. Well, you kick it and then it changes.
Look at it.
It has a two-seam action, so Matt Klein's swinging at it like a heater, and he's right over the top of it. The low spin allows this thing to just drop off the table, and you know they're having conversations now in the Louisville dugout like, hey, guys, I got bad news. Yeah. We now have a third pitch that has entered the fray.
He does this other thing. Yeah, his fourth is pretty good, too. It's that pronation, too. He gets all the way over the top of it at the end, and it gives it that arm side down movement at the end.
Jake Monroe, the batter here with 2 outs and no one on against Whitney. And Dax was telling us the other day, his whole life has struggled to throw changeups. Had a circle change, but that bothered his shoulder, so he was searching. Said he was kind of throwing like 92-mile-an-hour changeups. They all stunk, he said. So he was searching for anything, and he landed on this.
He went and found it.
And he is rolling right now in Omaha.
70% strikes tonight, too. He's hammering the zone.
No chase there.
All right.
Again, a guy who said no to $3.2 million in the second round of the draft last summer and entered college baseball as one of the premium recruits, and he has totally lived up to it as one of the best freshman arms in the country. 1-2 to Monroe.
Oh, that's a great
take.
Probably the best take of the ball game right there, and that's what you want to see if you're a Cardinal fan. Some of these hitters start to identify the shape and the spin of the breaking ball.
2-2. That one is past the reach of A.J. Singer into right, and Louisville's got its first base runner. A chopper with 2 strikes from Jake Monroe, and he's aboard in the 4th.
That's a big time at bat. And the take on the previous pitch is what leads to the result there. And the Cardinals finally putting their first hit up on the board, because you could tell based on the previous pitch, okay, here's a hitter that's now seeing the ball deep. And that's exactly what happens as he shoots a backside base hit.
And now Eddie Chance ring out for Eddie King Jr., senior DH in the cleanup spot, who got a bunch of those that he was serenaded with during the Super Regionals last weekend at Jim Patterson Stadium in what was a fabulous scene.
Yeah, that was one he'll never forget, when the home crowd and the place is packed and they're on their feet chanting Eddie, Eddie, and then you deliver. That's about as special of a moment as a college baseball player will ever have.
A 1-0. Fastball for a strike, and this was the scene at Supers last weekend when Eddie King Jr. came through.
Deliver on a big stage and then the whole crowd chanting your name, that's pretty good right there.
That's why you come back. Just moments like that, moments like this.
Well, he's trying to solve Dax Whitney a second time. He struck out on a curveball to begin the second, his first time. With Jake Monroe aboard. Dax Whitney's 1-2 on the ground left side and out of the reach of Iva Arquette. Back-to-back 2-out singles for the Cards here in the fourth.
All right, a couple 2-strike base hits. You see Eddie King was way up on the handle of the bat right there, and certainly not the two best bolts from the 3 and 4 hitter in this Louisville lineup, but just some momentum as the Cards start to scratch a little something on Whitney here in the fourth.
And you had mentioned second time through, couple of knocks, and now the middle of the order turns to Garrett Pike, right fielder in the 5 spot, who struck out on a curveball his first time. That's a land strike at 71, top of the zone.
Now, KP, you talked about picking a pitch. To me, right here, this is where you pick a pitch. If you're Pike, I'm banking that he slowed me down with a first pitch curveball, and I am sitting on a heater. I know I'm behind in the count, but I don't think you're going to get a ton of these opportunities. Why be in between until you get to 2 strikes? Like pre-2 strikes, hunt one. You've seen him once. This is where you really have to be convicted in your approach.
He's hung 2 curveballs here, maybe a fastball. Sit that.
I told you I'd been on it after the first one. Now he's thrown two breaking balls, and like you said, now he's missed. He's thrown 3 in a row. He's missed with 2 of them. Like this is what you're looking for here if you're a middle order hitter with a runner in scoring position.
And this is a veteran bat in Garrett Pike against the freshman Dax Whitney. 2-1, and there was the fastball elevated.
That's the one he wants you to swing at. That's the one. I mean, you're 2-0 or 2-1 fastball count, and it just stays right up and out of the zone.
First danger of the night for Dax Whitney. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Dax dials up 95 to leave 2 in the 4th inning.
So to me, KP, this is a hitter who was still in between, and even though he's behind after the breaking ball, he gets 2 swings and misses because Pike is still slowed down from those benders, and the fastball erases the lefty.
Welcome back to Omaha. Scoreless game in the bottom of the 4th. Joined now with Louisville head coach Dan McDonnell. Been able to put some balls in play now. What's the difference second time through the order against Dax Whitney?
Well, the difference is he's starting to land his breaking ball too. The first time through the lineup, it was a lot of fastballs. Man, he's throwing 3 pitches for strikes. It's really tough on hitters that first time through the lineup. Both guys with the shadow. And but you can see we had a couple hits. They just had a hit. So you just got to keep competing.
You told us with Patrick Forbes, sometimes the adrenaline can be too much for him. How have you thought he's handled it today?
I got a lot of gratitude for Patrick being in the program and his growth and his development. So he's competing. He looks great out there. He's giving us a chance. We got a 0-0 game in the 4th, so this is a good one.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Coach.
You got it. Thanks, Chris.
Guys.
Chris, Dan, thank you. And Trent Carraway with that aforementioned hit that Dan McDonnell pointed out. 101 off the bat for Carraway, second time through, in the first hit for Oregon State off Forbes.
First pitch breaking ball too, which is pretty interesting. He went up there and looked on time for that, but I also think that tells you maybe they're starting to see the baseball a little bit better. Still a little bit of shadows going on the mound, but looks like the hitters are settling in.
And now Iva Arquette, again projected top 10 pick according to Kylie McDaniel. 6'5" shortstop, Washington transfer. How do you think his defense is at that size?
Well, I think it's been incredible. You talked to Mitch Canham. He played second base last year at Washington, which is incredible. But moving over to shortstop, I think you really get to see the arm strength and some of the different arm angles that we were able to see from him yesterday during the workout. Pretty impressive. I just don't think I was expecting that kind of mobility and diversity with the way he moved at this height. High school hooper, this height, kind of gives you some orange and black, kind of gives you some Cal Ripken vibes. I mean, seriously, like that kind of athlete at that height.
He was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Hawaii in 22 in basketball.
And hoops.
Little nubber up the line. Jake Monroe, gloves on one hop. Not in time. Arquette's dribbler results in an infield single, and the first two have reached for the Beavers in the 4th inning.
Like run a little bit too. Swinging bunt right here all the way in front of a slider. Both hits in this inning have been on the slider. This was just put in the right place. Monroe can't do anything about it. Fields and throws off that right foot, but now back-to-back singles for Oregon State after they didn't have a hit in the first 3 innings.
So the Cards had a couple of 2-out hits against Dax Whitney, and Oregon State's got a pair with nobody out. For the vaunted home run hitter in the 3 spot, Gavin Turley has piled up home runs in this NCAA tournament. And this one to the backstop with a high carom, and there's 2 in scoring position for Oregon State.
That was the first big miss of the ball game there, KP.
Yeah, just tugged the fastball.
Boy, and that is about as inopportune a time as possible. Cards got some people moving down there in the bullpen. I assume they don't like the way this inning has started, and you can see why. But this is where the swing and miss stuff can really come into play.
1-0. Turley lays off of that, and it's 2-0. Gavin Turley was an All-American last year and first team Pac-12. And now this independent Oregon State team is trying to jump on Louisville first in the 4th inning.
Pretty. 2 guys in scoring position, 2-0 count, land a breaking ball. It's a big time pitch to get back into the count.
On a hot night in Omaha. Patrick Forbes 2-1. Gavin Turley on the ground right at Kamayu Neighbors to get a run home, and Oregon State's got the lead in the 4th.
And that RBI breaks a tie with his skipper for Gavin Turley as the all-time leader now in postseason history for Oregon State in RBI. It's a pretty big deal with a program that has the kind of postseason history that this club has.
I think you say it to him on the way by. Hey man, he had a good run.
I think both teams would trade that outcome right there, KP. What do you think?
Yeah, agree. And that's why Louisville was playing there with nobody. Now with 1 out, they immediately bring that infield all the way in.
Beavers get the run. Forbes gets a first down. Now Wilson Weber on the ground past Alisay in the left center. Against the drawn-in defense, Ivar Arquette scores. 2-0 Beavers.
Now this is the risk you take, and sometimes you do it because if they hit it right at you, got a chance to make the play at home plate. Playing all the way back, they're still going to score a run, but you get it out of it. You don't think you get it out of it?
No, that's 108 off the bat. And he's shaded to the pull side.
Well,
my opinion.
It's the first time ever, but we'll agree to disagree on that. And at any rate, you pull that infield in, hit it that hard, it's going to get through, and Oregon State has 2 on the board.
And still just the 1 out. Now A.J. Singer. And a pump from Matt Klein. Singer popped down foul ground to first his first time, and these bats are starting to see Patrick Forbes a little bit.
Just hang in there. You get these elite arms early in a ball game and a big event like this, and they got the adrenaline pumping. If they got their best stuff, it's always going to be the tough the first time through, but you just have to hang in there. Both these offenses have kind of punched back. Louisville obviously didn't cash in, but Oregon State certainly able to here in the bottom half.
You got him in the stretch too, and it's amazing how big of a difference that can make. When a guy's been so comfortable with his rhythm out of the windup, you don't have to worry about base runners. You can move however you want to. A lot of times you get a guy in the stretch. I mean, they got him there for 1 pitch earlier in this game. It was a slider for a double play. Aside from that, every other pitch in this game had been out of the windup.
And now Forbes forced to work here in the bottom of the 4th with 2 runs in for Oregon State. 0-2. Singer chases up the ladder at 96, and a 6th strikeout for Patrick Forbes.
Still has that one. But that fastball at the top of the zone, whether you got a stretch or out of windup, that You get him swinging at that, that's exactly what Forbes wants.
Does your stuff change, stretch versus windup, or more just rhythm and command?
Now, stuff can change sometimes, especially if you're trying to be a little bit quicker towards home plate. I mean, that's the thing with Louisville, right? When they're on base, it changes the game because they are going to force a pace that's uncomfortable for guys on the mound. They just haven't been on base a whole lot, so you can't force the pace right there. But yeah, oftentimes it's the stuff can dip a little bit when guys go out of the stretch.
Ball and a strike on Tice Peterson, DH in the 6th spot.
It's crazy too. I heard Maddox talk about this one time, warming up for games, and he would warm up 80% of his pitches were out of the stretch, because ultimately during the course of the game, most important pitches that you make are out of the stretch.
Well, out of the stretch, another single yielded by Forbes. Tice Peterson to the backside, and there's 2 aboard with 2 outs still in the 4th.
Well, we've seen some nice pieces of hitting here in this inning. Watch how deep he catches this thing. A 4-seamer away from him, and he catching that thing just inside his lead knee, and extension all the way through the backside of the baseball, and that is something special right there. As Oregon State has now drawn a visit from pitching coach Roger Williams, because clearly the momentum has changed here 2nd time through the order.
Roger Williams in his 19th season alongside Dan McDonnell. Spent 11 at his alma mater, North Carolina, coaching the likes of Andrew Miller and Daniel Bard.
I mean, we know the numbers. Obviously, 2nd time through the order this time, Oregon State's taking better swings. But from your standpoint, when you were playing, how much bigger of an advantage is it once you've seen a guy as opposed to just looking at a scouting report and knowing what he does?
Huge advantage, and that's why we see a lot of times in the modern game, teams are way quicker to go to the pin, especially the 3rd time through. But I think also in this environment, with the shadows being a part of the equation, I think in general you're more comfortable 2nd time around, because you've got at least a little bit of a feel for how the ball looks in the batter's box, which is a big deal with the way the shadows have been early in this ball game.
2 runs in for Oregon State in this bottom of the 4th, and 2 aboard with the 2 out for Jacob Craig. He tried to lay off, but went around on appeal down to 1st at Jeff Head. Craig was the guy who got hit by that pitch at 95 up and in, and just took it from Forbes leading off the 3rd.
Chuckled. Just chuckled after wearing it.
Told you Craig had a big hit in game 1 of that super to tie the game in the 9th inning against Florida State. And we were talking with Craig the other day. He said that's why you play the game, for moments like that. He said it was definitely the biggest moment of his career and the loudest crowd he said he's ever heard in his life. Good breaking ball there. So can Patrick Forbes limit the damage? The Beavers have struck in this Men's College World Series opener in the 4th inning. Forbes 1-2. Dotted. 96 from Forbes to leave 2, but the Beavers break through first. Trent Carraway and Iva Arquette got it started with a couple of base hits, and Oregon State's got the lead on Louisville as we go to the 5th.
This team is postseason ready.
We're definitely playing with a chip on our shoulder. We got to do it for the city and the fans.
We can now have an opportunity to show the world how strong we are.
When your backs are against the wall, you're going to leave it all out there on the field.
You want to beat them up? Do you have what it takes? What it takes? Whoever it
Back at the Men's College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. Great sights there of the BKP Bridge. And the bracket looks like this. 8 teams. Top 4 in action today. The bottom 4 in action tomorrow. Double elimination within each of those brackets. And then the winner of each one meets in a best-of-3 championship series that starts a week from tomorrow.
Good one in game 1, huh? Coastal just keeps it going. 24 straight wins.
The shots are rolling.
Yes, they are.
They haven't lost since April, by the way. It's mid-June right now.
With one of the best pitching staffs in the country, they beat Arizona. Dax Whitney back to work. 5th inning. He's now got a 2-run lead. He faces 6, 7, and 8, starting with Zion Rose, who struck out against Whitney on a curveball his first time. One of the 9 Ks for the freshman stud. Dax Whitney has punched out 31 in 14 2/3 in the NCAA tournament.
Come again? 31 and 14 2/3, so that's like 20 per 9. Do that math quick.
You just did. I'm sure it was fairly close.
There's Dax's father, Chris Whitney. Had that moment a couple years ago that Chris Budden was telling you about when Dax was here watching Paul Skeens and Rhett Lauder. Zion Rose, well struck center field. Cannon Reeder backpedals for out number 1. Best contact against him so far?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's not where you want to hit it here. No. You got a little. It's not howling in, but it's blowing in from center, and that ball was hit well, but it's to a part of the ballpark that fly balls usually go to die.
So 1 down, 5th inning, nobody on for Teg Davis, true freshman from Philly, and the son of former 2nd overall pick Ben Davis back in 1995. This one is skied to shallow center. Cannon Reeder is there for out number 2 off the bat of Teg Davis.
You see Dad there. I spoke with them earlier today about the decision to forego the draft, and they said this was going to be 100% Dax's decision, but we kind of went through the pros and cons. He came up with it on his own, and we kind of thought, you know, having been there in that 2023 and watching the Skeens Router game, like how cool it would be to be there. But he goes, if I'm being quite honest, we never thought this was actually going to happen.
All the way from Blackfoot, Idaho. As KP told you about the census readings earlier, 13,000?
Not quite. 12,999 is what I found.
How neat a story is it when a kid bets on himself like this, comes to college, and performs the way he has here in the tournament? Such a cool story.
Alex Alicea rolls out to A.J. Singer. Chris Whitney liking what Dax Whitney is doing on the grand stage. Yes, he is here. Sunday Night Baseball features another great rivalry on the heels of Red Sox-Yankees. Series finale this week, Giants and Dodgers, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Coverage starts at a special time of 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific, with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown. Ivar Arquette, very good pro prospect like we've talked about.
Wouldn't surprise me if he's maybe the next one in the line of guys that have gone from the College World Series to playing in the big leagues in about a year's time.
Cannon Reeder wears a backup breaking ball off the hip, and the 8-hole hitter for Oregon State is on against Patrick Forbes.
Christian Moore just got the call.
Yeah.
Debut today?
Tonight, yeah, against the Orioles.
Okay.
Who else do we think for pro prospects coming from here might have the fastest track to the big leagues? Kate Anderson, LSU starter, who's going tomorrow.
I think you can push him about as fast as you want to. I mean, not here, but you could see Liam Doyle in a bullpen this year in the big leagues if you wanted to.
Pitch clock discussion here for Easton Talt and Patrick Forbes, with Talt in the 9th spot.
You know, it's funny. I don't. If you'd asked me that question last year, I don't think I would have said Cam Smith that quickly. I certainly see Cam Smith playing the big leagues, but to make the next year's opening day roster, I don't think I would have seen that coming. And so when you ask that question, I think it makes you wonder, you know, Patrick Forbes is the type of arm that with a little refinement could help somebody. And I just think in general we've proven over the last few years, there's a bunch from the 23 class that made it quickly, that the curve to the big leagues is not nearly as long as it used to be, and guys are just proving that over and over and over again.
How many from last year that played in Omaha are in the big leagues right now?
5.
There's 5? Who am I missing? Smith, Semo, Keggs.
Ryan Johnson from DBU.
Yeah. But here, they played in Omaha.
Oh, played in Omaha. Excuse me. No, those three. There's 5 from the class.
How about Keggs? I mean, he came to this city to play AAA.
He thought they played here. Did you see that?
Yes, I did see that.
Because he joined them on the road. I think they were in Des Moines. They were coming home, and he thought that the Storm Chasers played their home games there, and then they show up at the ballpark. He said, what are we doing here? This is where we play. He didn't play there very long.
2-1 is fouled away by Easton Talt.
So I was doing a hit today with the Kansas City radio station. Keggs has been in the big leagues for like 30 seconds, and he's already second on their team in exit velocity 110 plus.
Not shocking.
I mean, he's already done it 6 times.
Baseball compressor.
Ball striker extraordinaire, Jack Caglione.
Melton. Good pick from Forbes on Cannon Reader.
But it is pretty cool, and I think it just heightens the awareness of the overall baseball community of just how much the game of college baseball has grown and evolved when you see guys going from being stars here to immediately making an impact at the big league level.
Why is it, at least seem to be, a faster path nowadays, like these last few years, to get from college to the major league level and not need 4 years in the minors?
I would say it's a multi-level answer. One is the major league decision makers aren't as married to the process as they used to be, right? There used to be you need 1,000 at bats, you need 200 innings. You know, those thought processes have gone away. But I think the sport, because of the narrow draft, because of the player development and all the technology that these colleges have invested in, I think the level of competition at this game, if you're dominating it, you're not but a few hundred at bats, maybe not even, away from being competitive in the big leagues.
Chopper foul. Good AB from Easton Talt.
I think the other thing too is it's easier to believe in it more if it works, and it's been working. So you push somebody to the big leagues a little bit quicker than maybe history would tell you generally happens, and they're good. When they get there, well, maybe we should try that again.
Yeah,
I think that guy's pretty good. Let's do that with him as well.
But when Wyatt Langford goes up there and immediately starts doing damage, and Paul Skeens is starting the All-Star game, and you see these guys immediately make impacts, it's easier to make the decision on the next guy.
Easton Talt flies out to Lucas Moore, and there's one away in the bottom of the 5th. All right, so how about some of the guys that have gone from Omaha to the bigs? A couple years ago, Nick Kurtz was here with the great Wake Forest team, already up with the A's. Jack Caglione, we mentioned, short stint for him in the minors, and then Cam Smith out of Florida State made the opening day roster for the Astros.
Yeah, that was as quick of an ascent as I think any of us could have pictured for a kid in Cam Smith who had a bunch of questions coming into his junior year, and then boom. He's on the Astros opening day roster. But I think about guys like Jacob Wilson, who was at Grand Canyon, who's going to probably start the All-Star game or certainly be on the All-Star team, who was a 2023 draft.
Has he still walked only like 5 times or something this year?
Like 330.
The numbers are crazy when you look at it for Wilson.
Trent Carraway, the batter. That's yanked from Patrick Forbes.
But just look at the 2 starters we have in this ball game. Okay, the average fastball velocity is 94 to 96 with wipeout breaking balls. Well, if you're able to put together quality at-bats off guys like this, I'm not saying it's identical to a big league bat, but it's not too far off.
Forbes steps off while Dax Whitney waits, and Trent Carraway bats for the 3rd time against Forbes. Carraway struck out in the 1st, singled in the 4th, and I told you how good he's been in the NCAA tournament. This guy entered the year pegged as a top 4 third baseman in the sport by D1 Baseball, but has had some scuffles as a sophomore.
Yeah, missed a bunch of time as a freshman. So in some regards, this feels like his first season in college baseball. It's certainly his first full season, and maybe put a little too much pressure on himself early. He's kind of wired as a doer to kind of go attack the game, but man, has he found his groove here down the stretch.
Those 6 home runs in the postseason, most ever by a Beaver in a postseason. And Caraway came in with 14 RBIs in this NCAA tournament as well, chasing down the record holder in any one postseason at Oregon State, Adley Rutschman, who had 20 driven in 2018. 1-2. Caraway strikes out. 97 up the ladder, and there's 2 down.
He asked earlier whether or not the stuff changes when he gets out of stretch, and it would appear that the fastball velocity does not go down, because that was one of his best of the entire day. I mean, that is electric. That gets halfway to home plate and looks like it's just rising on him.
We're now entering the 3rd time through the order and 76 pitches in, and that fastball has not ticked down.
And so 2 outs for Forbes, who now faces Iva Arquette. First time through the lineup, nary a hit for the Beavers. Second time through, 4 of them against Forbes. And here is Arquette, 6'5", 220. Team leader in OPS. On the ground towards second. Kamayu Neighbors lost it on the transfer. Heck of a play to stop that, but then couldn't rise and fire on Arquette.
And I don't know if he was going to be able to finish that one off anyway, but boy, it'd been fun to see him try. The range going to his left, layout, and just on the transfer, he can't quite make it cleanly. Love the effort. Had to rush because of the speedy Arquette getting down the line, and that'll go as Iva Arquette's 2nd base hit of this ball game.
So this crowd's into it again in support of the Beavers. Already up 2-0 on Patrick Forbes in Louisville. And with 2 aboard, with 2 out for Gavin Turley in the 3 spot. He's bounced to short and then had an RBI ground out to second. Turley is a fascinating guy. He's got his pilot's license, plays the piano, and loves duck hunting.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that like really makes you feel like you're an underachiever.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is a true Renaissance man.
And the all-time leader in Beaver home runs.
Just as a footnote. Oh, and by the way,
yeah.
And I love too how Mitch Canham said he plays the piano with no music in front of him. Just feels it.
Just plays.
Savant.
What was the show up with your props day when he showed up with a bunch of Drake Mallards in his hand? That was
that was photo day.
Yeah, photo day. Oh, I brought some birds with me.
Here's 7 of my best ducks that I was out hunting. Really impressive young man. We really enjoyed chatting with Gavin Turley on Thursday. He's cut down on some chase, some whiff, and some strikeouts. 2-2.
Here's the story. Iva Arquette asked if he could bring a Hawaiian flag to the photo shoot. So he texts the staff. The staff says sure. And so the staff said it to everyone, if you want to bring a prop, that's fine. So this was the prop that Gavin brought a day after going duck hunting.
Why not?
Berkey, ever been duck hunting?
No.
No?
Plan to?
No.
He got to get his duck hunting.
Nothing. He asked me a question, and I gave him an answer, Kyle.
So I'm not inviting you.
Go to the next guy on the list.
Swing and a miss. Forbes fans the duck hunter Gavin Turley and leaves 2, and it's 9 Ks for a fired up Forbes.
Kind of found it again right there. Hits the guy that lead off the inning. And Patrick Forbes finds that breaking ball right there. Louisville needs some offense, though. Down 2-0 through 5.
The Men's College World Series is underway here in Omaha, Nebraska, and the action continues all week with the championship series starting on June 21st. For more info, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. 6th inning, and Dax Whitney back to work against 9-1-2 with his Oregon State team up 2-0 on Louisville. And Kamayu Neighbors thought that was ball 1, but called the strike as he gets a second look at the super talented freshman Dax Whitney. Neighbors flew out to left his first time. Dax Whitney, big body as well. He is 6'5", and he told us since he arrived on campus, he's put on 30 pounds, up from 185 to now 215.
Well, we talked a little bit about the decision to go pro or to go to college. That's a big reason why a lot of kids go. The strength and development programs at these universities. If you're in pro ball, you're doing most of that on your own, or you're finding a guy, whatever the case might be. It's a little different than a college weight room atmosphere.
Dax was telling us he will lift, he will drink 2 glasses of chocolate milk, and then he will DoorDash, he said, 4 times a day to get his calories. Sound like the Peterson household?
I go white milk instead of chocolate milk, but the rest of it's pretty much on brand.
Only difference.
Yeah.
Do you do it right after your workout the way he does?
Yeah, I kind of sandwich it in between my workouts.
Okay.
Just right in between them.
Your 2-a-days?
Yeah.
So it popped up, and Wilson Weber gives it a look, but a full count. Dax was telling us he makes steak almost every night.
Now we're getting a little bit closer to reality in my house. That I can roll with.
He's medium rare. He said 135 on the internal for sure.
It's a little light, but that's okay. I'm with you.
Dax Whitney's 3-2 sails, and he issues a leadoff walk to the 9-man, and the first free pass issued by Dax Whitney has Kamayu Neighbors on.
Well, now you got to deal with some baseball here. You got Kamayu who can really run. You got Lucas Moore that can really handle the bat. KP, as you talked about, you get him in the stretch. Leadoff base runner is a welcome sight to that Cardinal dugout.
Eric Segura is up in the pen. This is a really talented sophomore right-hander, and a pitching staff for Oregon State that has some depth to it.
And that depth has shone throughout the postseason as they've lost a game in each round.
Ball 1. And had to come back and do it the hard way. All right, you said the baseball starts. It's the leadoff man, Lucas Moore. Again, if he can get on with his speed, he is a real threat on the base paths. Trent Carraway is in big time at third. That fades up and out. 2-0 on Moore.
Well, known for his speed, known for the pressure he puts on a defense. Lucas Moore, don't kid yourself. This dude can swing the bat now, too. He's hitting 350 and can hit the ball at the ballpark if he gets an opportunity. You see Oregon State clearly a little worried about their right-hander here as they're going to slow the game down and give Segura a chance to really get it heated up there in the bullpen.
Wilson Weber's got a great way on these mound visits. Dax Whitney was saying to us that Weber is so laid back when Weber comes out. In the words of Dax Whitney, Weber just always says, "Hum, kid," every time he comes out. He'll always tell Dax Whitney, just stop thinking. Just pitch.
There's no jam a good hum kid can't get you out of it, KP?
Been that way since we were 5 and started playing.
That right there is Brooke Moore watching her son Lucas in the box. Dax Whitney's 2-0. That's outside. 3-0 on Lucas Moore already after the leadoff walk. It was 11 in a row set down to begin the ball game, and then a couple of 2-out singles in the 4th, and no base runners until now. Anxious moments for all family members here in Omaha. Lucas, the sophomore from Cincinnati. Lucas was the guy who caught the final out in the Super Regionals to get Louisville here to Omaha to beat Miami. Caught it in center. He said it felt like it was in the air for 20 minutes. Oh, it popped out of the mitts of Jacob Craig at first. Otherwise, they had Kamayu Neighbors.
Did a very good job there of varying the look. It was a little bit longer hold. So ultimately, Neighbors, those feet are just stuck down.
He's clearly out.
He's definitely out if this ball is
he's showing the umpire the ball. He's showing Jeff Head the baseball and loses it on the way up.
This is flared beyond Arquette in the left field. A base hit for Lucas Moore. So the first two have reached for Louisville. Neighbors is off the hook. He's into scoring position and nobody out in the 6th inning.
Wow, you talk about a change of events. You go from 1 out and nobody on to 1 out and dealing with Lucas Moore, who's going to do exactly what he does best, which is just kind of fight off a fastball in the end of the 3rd to the backside gap. Loves to use the middle backside part of the field. You know, Mom is super pumped about that. And here come the Cards with their first real scoring opportunity here with 2 on and no out.
It was ruled an error on the first baseman, Jacob Craig, and now Matt Klein in the 2 spot. Chopper toward first. Craig handles to the bag himself for out number 1. But now 2nd and 3rd with Neighbors to 3rd and Moore to 2nd here in the 6th.
Worked like a bunt there, KP.
I think you'll take that on both sides again. I mean, first pitch change up right there and Klein all the way out in front. So it's a fairly uneventful swing and bunt, but ultimately moves the 2 runners up 90 feet.
And now you got a red hot bat in Jake Monroe. Singled with 2 strikes the opposite way his last time in the 4th inning. And we're going to get a mound visit here from the pitching coach, Rich Dorman. 82 pitches for Dax Whitney. 3rd time through the lineup.
Well, it's a fly out that was hit fairly well, and a really good at bat the next at bat when he spit on a 2-strike breaking ball and then shot 1 through the backside. So first base is open here off a hitter who, they're going to make a change. Interesting.
Rich Dorman points to the bullpen and summons Eric Segura. So Dax Whitney runs into a roadblock in the 6th in a big spot in Omaha. One of the best freshman arms in the country, Dax Whitney delivered tonight. 5 1/3, 9 strikeouts. For now, he leaves with a 2-0 lead, responsible for 2 aboard, pitching in front of his family here today. Dad Chris here watching as they are back in Omaha like they were watching his fans a couple of years ago. And here in this 6th inning, some big moments and a near pickoff over at first.
Yeah, just an inning-changing event right there, potentially a game-changing event. Right after that, Lucas Moore makes them pay by shooting 1 in the left center field gap. And that has led to a change on the bump. But what a performance by the freshman who came to college for a moment like he just had.
But they do go to the bullpen, and they summon a guy who at times this year has been the Friday night starter, the sophomore from California, Eric Segura, with a 4.47 ERA.
Yeah, and Berkey, we're talking about it. He hadn't been great in postseason up to this point. Now, it is a similar fastball shape to what we saw from Whitney. It's mid-90s, can bump up, maybe you see a 6 or a 7, but he's going to try to stay right at the top, just out of that zone.
Against Jake Monroe, and he sees a heater to start at 93. Berkey mentioned Monroe, a fly out to left and a backside single in his 2 trips. One of the stars of the Super Regional for Louisville. With 2nd and 3rd in the 6th. Monroe on the ground foul, and it's 0-2. Segura last year as a true freshman was excellent. Was honorable mention Pac-12 at a 4.93 ERA and gave the Beavers about 70 innings last year. Oh-2 to Monroe. On a line, at short, bobbled by Arquette, and a run scores. 2-1 in the 6th.
See Arquette kind of blinking his eyes right there like he didn't see it great. It's interesting because he did get frozen on this ball, a line drive that you see the feet get stuck. right? What I would like to see him do right there is take a half step back, get his eyes behind the baseball. But he looks like he just gets stuck, tries to body it up, and once you do that on a ball that has that much topspin, there's no way you're going to be able to corral that thing. And that was going to get one home anyway, but the Cards now get one home and nobody out. Another big play in this inning.
See 98 off the bat and ruled a hit for Monroe. And now the cleanup man, Eddie King. This one to the backstop, and Moore will not test Wilson Weber. The speedy Lucas Moore over at third did not bolt for the plate.
Well, maybe the right move here.
Monroe did move up to second, so it's second and third on the wild pitch. Kings 1 for 2 with a single last time. Snared by Weber. A lot of life to that fastball.
Yeah, I don't know if he's trying to cut it right there, if he just got around it, but that one just about got past Weber. I don't know that he was expecting that fastball shape when it came in.
Chance of Eddie ring out again here in Omaha. Segura's 2-0. Up and away to King.
Well, Segura has struggled with command in the postseason. 7 walks in 5 2/3. And certainly looks like the ball's getting away from him. As you said, KP keeps cutting it to the glove side.
King had a green light.
Let it rip, young man. Trying to hit his 6th go-ahead home run on the season. Has already hit 5 this year. Love the confidence to give your cleanup hitter the 3-0 green light right there.
Now 3-1. King cuts through another up in the zone.
Those last 2 fastballs are the shape that he wants. That one stays on plane and doesn't have that accidental cut on.
Eric Segura's 3-2 to Eddie King. Swing and a miss. He comes back from 3-0 for out number 2.
But keeping it pretty simple. I mean, it's just, here's the old number 1. If I can figure out a way to throw it over the plate, I think we got a chance. And Eddie King, 3-0 swung through one. He stayed right with that fastball. That one did have just a snitch of cut, just a little bit moving away, but still elevated just up and out of the zone.
So now Garrett Pike, senior in the 5 spot, who has punched out twice. Tips the first one foul. He's mired in a 2 for 20, and he is super aggressive. Like we said, the 2nd highest swing rate in the ACC, 3rd highest chase rate as well. With Moore at 3rd and Monroe at 2nd. Segura's 0-1.
Oh, that's outside.
He's leaning on that fastball right now, isn't he? It is just heater after heater.
Over the course of the year, he's thrown it about 70% of the time. So he's usually fastball heavy, but I think he's only thrown 1 breaking ball since he's come in, and that was the hit.
1-1. Another breaking ball there, 2-1.
And now you're back to hunting a heater, right? As KP said, he's just sprinkled in a couple off-speed pitches, but he clearly has been most effective with the fastball. And now Pike with another opportunity here to drive in a couple runs with 2 outs.
He had a chance in the 4th to sit heater in your mind. 2-1 to Pike. Cuts through that, 2-2. So is it not committing or just being late against good fastballs?
Well, maybe a little both, but it looks like he's under and behind. And when you're facing high right fastballs, you have to get the barrel out in front.
1-run game in the 6th. 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs, and Eric Segura's 2-2 to Garrett Pike. Popped up. Foul ground, Wilson Weber near the railing with room, and the inning's over. Mitch Canham goes to the bullpen. Summons Eric Segura, who comes up large for the Beavers. Dax Whitney loves it. Segura picks him up. The Beavs still lead, now by 1. Omaha, Nebraska, for the 78th Men's College World Series. and the 75th of this event in this city. 2 years in Kalamazoo, Michigan, 1 year in Wichita, Kansas, and now all the rest here in Omaha. Glad you're with us. We've had 2 really good games so far today to kick off this event. Coastal Carolina beat Arizona earlier. We got a good one into the bottom of the 6th with Oregon State up 2-1 on Louisville, and 4, 5, and 6 for the Beavers, starting with their catcher Wilson Weber. Had an RBI single his last time in the 4th that he scalded at 108 off his bat. Patrick Forbes still out there. Is 1-1. That is strike at the bottom of the zone, 1 and 2. Matt Klein doing the catching, a guy who has been so important to Louisville. He does his homework on just about everyone, not just his pitchers, like Forbes. Swing and a miss. Forbes is fired up. He has fanned 10. Hey, the UFL championship game is tomorrow night over on ABC, also on ESPN Plus and ESPN Deportes. It's the DC Defenders and the Michigan Panthers in St. Louis, where they love football. Our coverage starts at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. All right, so 10 Ks for Patrick Forbes, and he's stabilized.
Yeah, and he was starting to look a little bit wobbly, too, the last couple innings. But now you come back and a strikeout to start it for Forbes. He's gone 6 innings 3 different times this year. Has not gone beyond that.
Went 6 in the regional against East Tennessee State. 2-hit ball with 13 strikeouts. Went 5 2/3 in the Supers on Friday against Miami. Gave up just 1 run. Punched out 9 in that one. A.J. Singer has popped out in foul ground to first and struck out on a fastball up his last time in the 4th. Lines this one into left field. A base hit for A.J. Singer. 105 off the bat and a 1-out single for Oregon State in the 6th inning.
Nice piece of hitting right there. You see the pitch recognition was early enough that allows him to be on time. That leg kick, see the spin, just a slight pause. Watch the back knee there. Get down into the back knee so you can get below that breaking ball. A lot of guys will hit that ball on a 1 or 2 hop to the shortstop, but Singer able to recognize it and then get below it and rifle it into left.
He's one of the real fun personalities on this Oregon State team. We're talking to him about all the road trips they've taken this year. He knows exactly how many home games they've had. The 19, that was it before the postseason. Said he got into his rhythms on the road. He'd go out and pay for a $7 cup of coffee every day. And all the new cities that the Beavers were traveling to. They played in Hawaii. They went from Hawaii to Iowa.
Yeah, they actually played AAA ballpark, then went to Des Moines. Yeah, it was not an easy task to put a schedule together for this Oregon State team this year. 19 home games, you said, during the regular season. Again, that doesn't happen for teams that get to Omaha. They play 19 home games during the course of it, but the one advantage for Oregon State is it did help their RPI with all the neutral games and all the road games. You win a bunch of those, that RPI just keeps on rising.
Again, the Pac-12 fell apart, at least for now, in the summer. 2-1 on Tice Peterson. Mitch Cannon was telling us this morning he was at Disneyland with his kids when he found out about how the conferences were changing. He wanted some time to think about it. And while he's going on rides with his couple of kids at Disneyland, he's looking at opponents' possible bye weeks to figure out how they can fit in some games on their schedule. 2-1. That's up.
A lot of prayer, a lot of phone calls is what he said. He said he now has every college coach's basically number in his phone because he had to do that much work to piece together a schedule. It's going to be complicated again next year, but he thinks it'll be a little better.
Button was telling us earlier that they were here in Omaha when they played Nebraska. They were at the airport and they had 40 guys in line to get food. They all just wanted sandwiches. 2 employees work in the fast food place. One of them quit right in front of them.
Yeah, you know, things happen when you're on the road. Snow comes, flights get canceled, buses don't show up. Sometimes the food doesn't show up. When you travel 23,465 airline miles during the regular season, this team, though, says build you closer. You're having breakfast at the hotels together. And for Mitch Canham, the idea was keep feeding the good wolf and the complaining stays away.
Well, they got it going here, Chris. They're up 2-1, and then Tice Peterson just put that one past the dive of Kamayu Neighbors, so it's back-to-back singles here with 1 out in the 6th.
A couple chances to Kamayu's left that he just hasn't quite been able to finish off. He overdives this one.
Yeah.
The glove gets past where the baseball is. You notice his glove ends up above and outside the ball. That ball's hit 108 miles an hour, so a well-struck ball just to Neighbors' left, and the Beavers continue to put pressure on.
And now we'll get an offensive timeout taken by Oregon State. And we'll talk things over with Jacob Craig in the 7th spot. Power threat who will bat with 2 aboard. Kind of leashes there for Patrick Forbes at 95 pitches.
I got to think they're about there. I mean, you send it back out, and I mean, the stuff is still good. It's not really a stuff issue, but
Justin West out there in the bullpen. Yeah, I think the stuff's still plenty good. He's been over the 100-pitch plateau the last couple weeks, so I think they probably feel fine that he's still got some gas left in the tank. It's really just a matter of Forbes being able to execute here with a couple guys on base, because it doesn't feel like the stuff has lightened.
Patrick Forbes has been up to 110 pitches this year. Did that a couple of times early in the season. And then you mentioned his 2 postseason starts, 103 and then 107 last Friday. Jacob Craig got hit by a pitch in the 3rd and then struck out looking on a fastball in the 4th. Takes a fastball away to begin from Patrick Forbes, still holding 96. With 2 on the 1-0. Perfect spot to the glove side.
Well, he's really done a nice job on that outside edge, KP. I mean, he has really landed that pitch. A few misses a little too far out, but there's not a whole lot of those fastballs have run back over into the heart of the plate.
1-1. That's a strike. Ran back to the inside part of the plate, 1-2.
He came into this game walking 4.5 per night. I mean, it was 33 walks in 66 innings. And he's hit a couple guys. One, a breaking ball just got away from him, but he still hasn't walked anybody tonight.
It's a guy who hit 7 in 1 outing against NC State midseason. Up the ladder. Craig did not go, according to Jeff Head, and it's 2-2.
Nice job shutting that one down. That's the one that looks so tempting, just above the hitting zone.
Pitch number 100 from Patrick Forbes is a 2-2. It's outside and a full count on Craig. You got Cannon Reeder, another right-hand hitter, on deck with the lefty Justin West. Berkey told you, up in the bullpen for the Cards. Tense moments in the bottom of the 6th inning in Omaha. 2 on, 1 out, 3-2. Just outside, and they're loaded. 3 straight have reached for the Beavers off Patrick Forbes in this 6th inning.
And now what?
I thought they would have got him before, but I would be surprised if they don't get him now.
And here comes Dan McDonald with a grimace to come get Patrick Forbes. A high-rising MLB draft prospect who was pretty darn good on the grand stage tonight here in Omaha.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy about the way that thing ended, but that was a special performance tonight.
Yeah, absolutely give him a chance. And if you're Dan McDonald and said this is the outing you're going to get, you take it every time.
5 1/3, 2 runs for now, 10 strikeouts, just the 1 walk from the junior right-hander Patrick Forbes. One of the leaders on this Louisville team, Justin West, is coming on to get him. Bases loaded, 1 out, bottom of the 6th inning. And Patrick Forbes, in his final season with the Cards, pitched a good one on this Friday night at the Men's College World Series. Been a good one so far. Really good pitching performance. Stacks Whitney on one side, and Patrick Forbes now out of this game as well. 10 strikeouts in 5 1/3, and Justin West takes over.
And I think it just got to be where you figure you got to get a little bit different look right now. Maybe a fear by Forbes, and really that last miss too was just off. If it was off, and that would have been a strikeout. Now they go to the lefty.
Drops in a breaking ball to the 8-hitter, center fielder for Oregon State, Cannon Reeder, who already bounced into a 4-6-3 double play back in the 3rd. Reeder's first year in a full-time role. Got some opportunities as a freshman and sophomore. This year has been big time for him. Serves this one down the right field line foul, and it's 0-2.
West comes into this ball game as one of the most, if not the most reliable Louisville bullpen arms down the stretch. How about 10 of his last 11 appearances, no earned runs. So he's been fantastic for Louisville here, even though the ERA isn't great. You can throw that out. He has been fantastic here, and a big reason why the Cardinals have made it here to Omaha.
Singer and Peterson singled, and then Craig walked. That's up and away to Reeder. Yeah, West spoke before the postseason. Cardinals put it out on social media. He talked about this program being disrespected. He's been a part of this journey these last 3 years. And now Louisville has authored a season to get him back here. His 1-2. Reeder on the ground to short. Alisea bobbles and then can't get it out. Singer scores, and it's 3-1 on what could have been a double play ball.
Wow. And then off the bat, you got exactly what you wanted. I mean, West can get you some ground balls sometimes with a 2-seamer. This time with a changeup, Berkey, and it looks like 6-4-3. You're off the field, and then you're not.
He's got 3 errors on the season. He still is going to get an out if he just is able to barehand it. 3 errors on the season. You got to wonder if the runner maybe distracted him a little bit. He comes into this game fielding .985, and you called it, KP. That is exactly the way you draw it up there if you're Dan McDonald, and their reliable shortstop just can't cash it in.
Going to get a pinch hitter here now in the 9th spot. Instead of a left-on-left matchup with Easton Talt, this is Carson McIntyre, who was big in Game 3 of the Super Regional as he got inserted into the lineup for Talt and delivered with a home run. Boy, what a swing right there in this game. A couple of balls to the middle infield of Louisville that just a little bit differently could have been converted into outs. So still loaded up, still 1 out. And McIntyre cuts through the first one from West.
Yeah, that must hit me.
Some chatter behind the plate from home plate umpire Angel Campos. Berkey told you West has been really good over these last 2 months. Drops in a strike, and it's 0-2. Patrick Forbes relegated to watching in this opener for both these teams in Omaha. 0-2. McIntyre serves that one foul. Each starter went 5 1/3. And now bullpens the rest of the way. Another 0-2 from West.
Well, we saw some action against the two bullpens in the first game today between Arizona and Coastal, but typically you play from behind late in these ball games here in Omaha, especially early when everybody's bullpen's fresh and ready to go. That is a tough way to advance.
Justin West 0-2. Pulled down the line, foul. And in terms of both these pitching staffs, which team would have a harder time if they lose this game of coming out of it and doing it the hard way?
I think it's Louisville for me. I think there's more depth on the Oregon State side.
All the more importance for Justin West trying to keep this a 2-run deficit for the Cardinals. 0-2 again. McIntyre strikes out. 94 up the ladder, and there's 2 away.
Got his best fastball of the year going, KP. You're talking about a guy that generally lives 90, 91. That's a couple 3s and 4s we've seen now, and a huge punch out. Don't you love it when a left-hander is able to stay on the mound and bounce back after his defense kind of lets him down? That is a big performance right there to get him 1 out away.
Ton of life up in the zone to strike out McIntyre. And now 2 outs, and the leadoff man, Trent Carraway, red hot in this postseason. Big time draft prospect in his own right. First pitch, and he goes up there aggressively. He struck out in the first, singled, hard hit in the 4th, and then punched out on another fastball his last time in the 5th inning with 7 home runs in his last 39 at bats. Told you Kylie McDaniel's got Trent Carraway 86th on his MLB draft rankings. 0-1. Carraway did not go. Ball and a strike.
Well, the scouts saw him in the last 3 weeks. He may be moving up that list a little bit because you said it earlier in this game, 6 home runs in the regular season, 6 in the postseason.
Including 5, 1 in every game of the regional round. West's 1-1. That's a strike at the knees, and it's 1-2. Trent, a California kid who wanted to stay on the West Coast. He's got his parents here watching, Tyler and Bobby. Loaded up, 2 outs in the 6th. That's a beauty of a curveball, and Justin West leaves him loaded. Limits the damage, but Oregon State does add on, and the lead is 2.
Tell you what, to the left-hander gave Louisville a chance right here. I mean, ball and gap, this thing totally changes. Comes on, gets a changeup swinging to start it. Elevated fastball just up and out. Fastball for the called strike, and then finishing off with a break ball on the outside part. Great job by the left-hander West.
Oregon State led 2-0 into the 6th when Louisville nearly had Kamayu Neighbors picked off after a leadoff walk out of the 9-hole. Well, Neighbors ends up scoring on this RBI single from Jake Monroe. A bullet on a hop at Iva Arquette. But Eric Segura bared down, and then he got the pop out from Garrett Pike. And then after that, Oregon State got one back in the bottom of the 6th.
I think you're seeing a big reason why both these teams are here. Bullpen arms that have been able to navigate some very difficult situations.
So it's 3-1 into the 7th, and Dan McDonnell talking with his Louisville team. He loves doing this for the last 3 innings of games. That's been messaging over these last 4 seasons in particular. And you see Oregon State's record when leading after 6 is sterling. They go back to the pen for the sophomore right-hander from Marysville, Washington, Wyatt Queen.
It's a low 90s fastball, but he's predominantly slider against right-handers. Doing more fastballs against lefties. You see some changeups to lefties too, but the best swing and miss pitch for Queen, especially against right-handers, is the slider. In this Louisville lineup right now, though, 2 switch hitters, assume they're going to hit from the left side. 6 of the 9 are from the left side.
It's the right-hand hitting Zion Rose, the all-ACC left fielder who bunts. Queen bare hands. How do you do? Wyatt Queen, welcome to Omaha.
Well, that was nifty, KP. Coming out of the bullpen and forced to field your position. You know you don't have a ton of time. Bare hand, throw off your back foot, and a strike across the diamond. Made a tough play look easy right there.
Yeah, that's not having too much time to get settled out there right away. We got to go barehanded, stick your foot in the grass, and sling it across the diamond.
For the junior college transfer, Wyatt Queen. 95 out of the zone to Teg Davis. True freshman first baseman in the 7th spot who's come up aggressive early in counts so far tonight. 18 home runs, a freshman record for Davis. And it is Teg Davis. He told us it's like egg with a T.
Simple enough.
Yeah,
that one's straightforward.
I thought that was pretty helpful. He's got the blonde hair. Louisville through the years has often dyed their hair in the postseason. 1-2.
We've even seen a few dyed facial hair this postseason from the Cards. They'd love to see Teg get going. It's been a little bit of a slow sledding here in the postseason. Yet to drive in a run or hit a homer. Waiting for him to bust out.
I got it.
Teg told us his girlfriend does not like the hair. Said his mom can't stand it. Sister not a fan. But little brother is 10 and little bro likes it.
Little bro's all in. Makes sense.
We promise you it is blonde under that helmet. 2-2 from Queen.
Oh, that's outside.
Misses, and Davis works a full count. Alex Alicea, switch hitter who because of his thumb injury is only batting left-handed, of course a righty anyway, is on deck. Davis tried to lay off and did not go around, so he works a 1-out walk and a base runner for Louisville and the tying run to the plate, and this looked close.
I thought he went first look, but he didn't.
Nice job.
No, that's a really good job of holding up.
Keep that barrel behind your front hip, and yeah.
Also, a really good job by Kellen Levy down at third base, the umpire, to get that one right, because you can get caught up in a moment right there in a big spot.
And so man aboard for Alex Alicea, sophomore shortstop from Milwaukee. Pulls one on a line into right and dumps it down in front of McIntyre. 2 aboard in the 7th for Louisville, down a pair.
Punch back. The Cards are punching back here. A really nice at bat by Teg Davis to draw a walk, and now the shortstop Alicea dumps one into right, and here come the Cards.
You like seeing that from Alicea. I mean, a kid that hadn't hardly made any errors the entire year, had a chance to make a double play. If he could field it cleanly, doesn't, leads to a run. Now he comes up right here in a big spot, shoots it to right, and keeps his inning going for Louisville.
Again, he is playing with a thumb that, in the words of Dan McDonald with us, is totally jacked up. But he singled to get aboard, and 2 on for the 9-man Kamayu Neighbors. Squares, and Neighbors fouled it off himself, but they'll say it was in the box. Angel Capos right on it, but Mitch Canham comes out and says, Angel, hang on a sec.
Mitch Canham wanting to know, was he in the box? Was he out of the box? Where did the ball contact him?
Umpires come together here.
After a crew consultation, foul ball.
And my understanding, this is not reviewable. The batter runner hit by a batted ball is something that is listed as not reviewable.
Oh, I think he's just in the box. That ball catches him on the bill of the cap. Looks like the back foot still in the box.
Yeah, he hadn't, the front foot hadn't stepped out of the box yet.
Boy, the margins have been very close on Kamayu Neighbors in about every way tonight. Queens 0-1.
Ball, that's outside.
Just misses outside. Neighbors, one of the leaders on this team. He is a 25-year-old, sixth-year senior who's had a heck of a journey to get to this point in his 1 year with the Cards. Came in from Cal State Northridge. 1-1. On the ground, Craig stabs with a dive toward the bag. Got him in time for out number 2.
Now, I understand he may have had enough time to make that throw. I like this decision to make sure you get an out. You're not going to turn 2. But potentially, I mean, you got the base runner, a much tougher throw if you're going to throw it to short, lay out right there. And if you don't get a clean handle on it the minute you go into the glove, I like the decision to go back to first.
I tell you, I'd like to see Neighbors stay on his feet there. He stays on his feet. He maybe beats that. He clearly doesn't. But KP, I'm wondering if maybe he didn't get the grip. And then that's definitely the smart play if you don't get the grip. Just put it in your pocket and beat the runner to first.
Well, Dan McDonald was told by his first base coach, Adam Vrabel, to have a look. But we just saw the result.
Challenging the out call at first. The previous call is under review.
Now, if you're new to this or just need a refresher, coaches get 2 challenges per game. You keep them if you're successful. And if you're out of challenges, the last 2 innings of regulation plus extras, the crew chief review is allowed at their discretion. So why not use it?
Yeah, why not?
McDonald.
I think, KP, to your point, in a perfect world, you throw that ball to second base.
Absolutely.
Because it's the tying run. But you don't want to take a chance if you don't feel great about it.
You want an out. I mean, ideally, you want the out at second base, but at the end of the day, you want an out.
So it'll be 2 outs, second and third. Louisville down by 2 with its leadoff man coming.
After video review, the call at first is out, confirmed. Louisville loses the challenge. They have 1 remaining.
Let's see what we can find here just on that transfer for Craig and his decision.
He certainly looked like he was committed at first to try to make this play, and then maybe just a little bobble and the discretion and the poise of, no,
yes,
I still have time. Don't panic. I can beat this guy to first base. Nice job there by Jacob Craig.
So now Wilson Weber comes out to talk with Wyatt Queen. So you got second and third, and Lucas Moore, the leadoff man, ready to hit. Singled his last time the opposite way after a couple of strikeouts his first 2 times. And there is action up in the bullpen for the Beavers.
Little home kid going on there, KP?
I think so.
Probably a little home kid on there.
That's the right-hander, Kellen Oakes. On just a perfect night.
Beautiful.
Here at the Chuck. In the Ha, as some call it. All right, here's Lucas Moore. Second and third for Louisville's leadoff man against Wyatt Queen. First pitch swinging, down the line in left, and Gavin Turley runs out of room. Well, Lucas Moore's had a great season. 6-foot center fielder from Cincinnati. Dan McDonald, his head coach, was just raving about him with us this morning. Said, how is he not going to be an All-American? He's got 5 home runs that he's run into that Berkey mentioned, plus those 51 stolen bases in 52 attempts. Mom Brooke here watching. Davis and Alisea aboard. 0-1. That's a strike, 0-2. Eric Segura stranded 2 in the 6th. Now Wyatt Queen trying to do the same in the 7th for the Beavers. His 0-2. Moore chases and strikes out. Wyatt Queen gets out of Dodge in the 7th.
You had a feeling if he got a plus count, he was going to stay with that slider, and he did right there. Stole strike 2, then buried it with a swing and miss, and the Bees still holding on to a 3-1 lead.
The Racers race on to Omaha. Bruins are going to Omaha. LSU going to their 20th College World Series. Arkansas is headed back to Omaha.
Day 2 and the rest of the field in action for the first time tomorrow. 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 local. Murray State Cinderella as a regional 4 seed here against UCLA, who got back with the superstar Rock Chalowski. And then we expect a few people for LSU Arkansas.
I don't anticipate a quiet building tomorrow evening. No. Those 2 fan bases tend to travel just fine.
It should be something with Cade Anderson on the bump against Zach Root. A couple of really good left-handers.
A couple first-round lefties, a couple fan bases that are known for liking college baseball a little bit. I'd say we'll have ourselves a good one tomorrow night.
Good one here as well. Oregon State bats in the bottom of the 7th, up 3-1 on Louisville. Iva Arquette, 2, 3, and 4 against Justin West. Look at the size of Iva Arquette. AJ Singer's double playmate was telling us the other day, he's like a Greek god in my eyes.
Don't you love the game of baseball? One team's got a 6'5" shortstop, the other one's got a 5'7", 5'7" shortstop. Like, and both of them can play it at a very high level. It is impressive though when you see somebody that tall that can make all the different plays the position requires.
We sat out there the other day because I hadn't seen him in person. I've seen him on TV playing, but I hadn't seen him in person. I just want to see him take ground balls on Thursday. It's pretty to watch. I mean, the moves, he's throwing from every possible angle that you can think of.
He looms large in that right-hand box and a 1-2. Hit in the air left center field. And Lucas Moore's over to the gap. Round number 1.
How good is tomorrow going to be? The current get-in price, if you wanted to buy a ticket, $236. That's just to get in the building. If you want to sit behind home plate, you're looking at over $500.
KP, is that American dollars?
And that would be American money right there, and a lot of it. Yeah, they travel. They travel.
The Hogs and the Fighting Tigers. One out, Gavin Turley.
Oh, that's outside.
You're talking about shortstop size, Berkey. You got Alice and Arquette. Tomorrow we got Milam and Aloy. Stephen Monster Milam of LSU. Vahiva Aloy, SEC Player of the Year for Arkansas.
Yeah, a similar type deal. Maybe not quite as extreme, but close.
Oh, we're ready.
Why not?
Yeah, Bengals. Is that a Cardinals helmet or a Bengals helmet? What do we got there?
I think it's Beavs.
Oh, Beavers helmet. Okay.
On the ground and out of the reach again of a diving Kamayu Neighbors. And Gavin Turley's got his first hit. One out single in the bottom of the 7th for the Beavs.
Boy, Kamayu, he just shaking his head like, man, he has been inches away from making 3 highlight reel plays, and unfortunately for him, has come up empty on all of them. Look, all he can do is a little wry smile. He's letting it all hang out, just can't quite get there. Oh, that's frustrating.
One of the most charismatic players you will find, a super impressive young man. So 1 out, 1 on. Now the cleanup man for Oregon State, the catcher Wilson Weber. It's punched out twice, sandwiched around a run-scoring single at 108 off his bat back in the 4th. Mitch Cannon was raving to us earlier today about Weber and how proud he is of his growth. They wanted him to communicate more with pitchers, really take charge of this pitching staff. So they had Weber interviewing his teammates in the fall. Before stretch, he would just Q&A his teammates. Fouled away. They told Wilson Weber, this is your team. You're not getting pulled no matter what. We're not running for you. It's all you, man.
Well, you got to have great leadership to lose game 1 of a home regional and make it all the way through. And they didn't just make it through. They steamrolled their way through that regional after dropping the first one. But it'd be real easy to question everything that had gotten you to that point when you drop game 1 to a 4 seed, and Oregon State did not blink.
He scored 50 runs, I think, in their next 3 games. I mean, it was just, you saw shades of what this Oregon State offense, now it was playing very offensive. The ballpark was more offensive than here, but it was a laser show for the next 3 days.
Come on.
Scored 50, gave up 6 in those next 4.
That works.
Yeah, it was the most low drama come from behind to win your own regional after losing game 1 that I think I could ever remember.
Well, look who's here as well.
Good to see Case back.
Heck yeah, it is.
Pat Casey, former legendary head coach of the Beavers.
Took this program, just jump-started it. Got it off the ground and turned it into one of the nation's elite.
Oh, 2. Weber on a line right at Neighbors, who handles the knuckle for out number 2. So Weber a catcher. Casey here, and Mitch Canham, of course, his first time as the head coach taking this program here.
Yeah, has made the tournament every year as he's been the head coach, but first time getting them back to where he says they belong. Pretty cool. We have 2 different skippers trying to lead their alma maters.
Both guys that won it
to national championships. That won it when they played. Chip Hale, of course, the other one for Arizona.
Here's A.J. Singer. You guys in the mood for a little trivia?
Please.
Only 2 guys have won the Men's College World Series as a player and as a coach.
Jerry Kindle.
Yep.
Mike Gillespie.
Well, that was quick.
We read our
notes.
All you got? We read our notes, Mike.
You guys did like a 5-round trivia at the Supers in Fayetteville.
We didn't do as well at that one.
We nailed the first few.
Yeah.
Production quality, though, I will say was very high on it.
Very.
West will pick on Gavin Turley. And so Mitch Canham trying to lead the Beavers here in this return. Took over for Pat Casey after Canham had spent 3.5 years as a manager in pro ball, the Seattle Mariners organization. This Oregon State team's got a fun vibe going on. They've been road warriors all year. They're giving dudes haircuts in the dugout mid-game.
Now that was a new one. I hadn't heard that one before. I hit a homer, and then you just get a buzz.
Yeah,
sure.
There's probably not a lot of. You can go 2-guard on the side and just kind of blend it up from there. I don't think it's one of those.
No.
Not one of those cuts.
You just saw Trent Caraway in there. We asked him the other day, are you going to do it? You're hitting a lot of home runs. He's like, kind of like the hair I got. Singer lays off. Big Ben's a haircut every 5 days. Big Ben McDonald.
Are you kidding me?
That's what he told me the other day. Every 5 days.
Keeps that thing high and tight.
I don't have the patience for that.
Or the bank account. Pop foul.
Yeah, that's a line item on the budget there. Every 5 days.
Oregon State by 2 on Louisville in the bottom of the 7th. Justin West trying to get through this 7th with Gavin Turley aboard at first. 1-2. Singer pokes one the opposite way. Base hit. Good two-strike hitting from A.J. Singer. And the Beavs have him at the corners.
This was a little something special right here. A little touch of class from A.J. Singer. Change-up, fading down and away. Get down in your posture. See, watch his chest get closer to home plate. He's going to finish through that thing. No rotation of the back foot. Put the brakes on with your hips so you don't over-rotate and roll it over. Shoot that thing through the backside. That was special right there. Have a day, kid.
Couple knocks for A.J. Singer. Again, junior college transfer who played not too far from here at Iowa Western. Now Tice Peterson. First pitch swinging, pops one up in foul ground, and this one will drift off toward the railing, and Tank Davis makes the catch. Inning over.
Wow, you talk about a big play. This is a lot of foul ground. He peeks late. Watch how late he looks to see where he's at. And by the time he looks up, the ball's behind him, yet he still has the ball skills to finish it off. Nicely done.
A Men's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Boy, spectacular night. What a shot that is. You're in Omaha outside of Charles Schwab Field. It is very important to win this first game when you get started in bracket action here at the Men's College World Series. Go back the last 43 Men's College World Series, and only 4 teams have lost their first game and gone on to win the national title. Oregon State's done it twice of those.
That's wild.
2018 and 2006 for the Beavers. Dropped their first game 1-all.
That 2018 team was so special. Of course, 2017 was, they had that miraculous run through the entire season. What were they, like 57-4 or something, KP, when they came here? Something crazy. Ended up coming up short to LSU, and then just came back and won the thing next year, but dropped the first one, just didn't blink.
Well, Louisville's down by 2. Top 8, 6 outs left to play with, and 2, 3, and 4 with Matt Klein, the catcher. Wyatt Queen's 2-1. Dives down, and Klein did not offer. So it's 3-1. Klein's such an important piece of this team. Dan McDonald said to us this morning, that is a big league hitter right there. Great eye. Guy can use the whole field, and he is disciplined. Called the strike.
Yeah, he's a special hitter. I remember watching him play in high school, Trinity High School. First at bat, he took a left-on-left fastball and hit it off the left center field wall. I thought, yeah, that looks like a Louisville commit.
He's got a chance.
Queens 3-2. Klein fights it off.
And then you factor in the fact that he has been so valuable behind the plate as well. Not a ton of left-handed hitting catchers that can really swing the bat on the market. He's got a chance to play this game for a while.
Again, he missed the 2 months with the broken bone right near his wrist. Lines one down the left field line. A fair ball for Matt Klein. Leadoff single to begin the 8th inning. Tying run to the plate for Louisville, down by 2.
Pretty good catching lineage at the University of Louisville. Will Smith probably going to start the All-Star game. Of course, Henry Davis went 1-1 in the draft. Dalton Rushing, a big leaguer as well. And Matt Klein feels like he's next. They rocket into left, and this is exactly how you draw it up if you're the Cards. Now, the tying run to the plate here with their 2 hottest sluggers.
First up is Jake Monroe. Couple of singles his last 2 times. Champaign, Illinois native, first year with Louisville after junior college. Raking ball snapped off to start. Jake Monroe in the Supers against Miami was 5 for 10 with a couple of home runs in game 1 on Friday. Popped another home run in game 2 on Saturday. He could not lay off there, and it's 0-2.
That breaking ball by Queen's pretty special tonight. Yeah.
It's real, especially against right-handers. I mean, that's really when he leans on it. Landed it for strike 1 and buries it down and out of the zone. And you got to think either elevate fastball way up and out of the zone and try to change eye, or bury that breaking ball again.
0-2. Another breaking ball and a pretty good take.
It's a real good take. Yeah, because that didn't miss the play by much.
Saw Kellen Oaks out there in the bullpen for Oregon State. Queen working now with a 1-2. Another breaking ball for strike 3 called. And there's one away.
I mean, he's not going to go away from it against right-handers, especially if he gets ahead. And you get ahead 0-2, just miss with one off the plate, and then come back and hammer one in there that catches plenty of the plate. Big strikeout right there for Queen on 4 straight sliders.
That's a pitch that came a long way for Wyatt Queen in the fall. Guy was already a natural strike thrower. The breaking ball took a big jump. Now Eddie King. Matt Klein aboard. A couple strikeouts for Eddie King in the cleanup spot. Also had a 2-strike pull side single in the 4th. Senior who in late July announced he would be returning for another season with the Cards. Tweeted out, "One more time." And the road led to Omaha. Eddie King didn't play at all as a freshman in 2022 because of injury. So his 3rd year playing a lot for Louisville. And this has been the best season of his career. Told you, 2nd in the ACC in OPS, ahead of so many stars in this sport. Alex Lodi's, Drew Burris, and Daniel Cuvée. Here comes Rich Dorman for a visit. Rich Dorman does the visits and the changes for Oregon State. Kellen Oaks has been ready out there. Just got a strikeout of Jake Monroe.
It's a good time to have a meeting. Eddie King, hottest hitter in the postseason, hitting .545 coming into this ball game. So you want to make sure you guys are really on the same page here about how you're going to attack him.
Mike, you mentioned the journey of Eddie King, and he didn't hear his name called in the MLB draft. You told me everything happens for a reason. And when I didn't hear my name, the first thing I did, picked up the phone, I texted Coach, said, "See you in Omaha."
He gets serenaded in supers, and yeah, now he's here in Omaha. Great stuff, Chris. King lays off that breaking ball that Wyatt Queen is just pumping to right-handers. Dan McDonald told us this morning the Eddie chant that King got during supers last weekend was unreal. Said King is loved in that city. A ball and a strike on the senior from Illinois. The 1-1. King floats one toward right center, and it hangs up for McIntyre for out number 2.
It's kind of a backup slider right there. Wasn't exactly where Queen wanted to throw it, but a lot of times when right-hander swings at that, just have a hard time barreling it up. Backing up into him. So even the mistake sliders are working for Queen.
Part of an impressive bullpen showing so far for Oregon State. Now Garrett Pike in the 5 spot. And he takes strike 1, 0 for 3 so far. Oh yeah. Use the whole face and all the face.
Big piece of pizza right there.
Not done yet. Keep working, huh?
Another check on Matt Klein.
You know, it's interesting. They've been getting Pike with fastballs up. Queen so far, his best pitch has been breaking balls down. You wonder if this is a better matchup for Pike than maybe the first 2 arms he's faced here in Whitney and Segura.
Off speed again.
He didn't see that one either. He swung right over top of that one.
White Queen's had some big moments in this postseason. Trying to do it now in Omaha as well. His 0-2. Mike lays off. White Queen came on in the regional against USC on a Sunday night elimination game. He went 4 1/3 of 1-run ball with 5 strikeouts. Worked around traffic in that one. He's had base runners here. 1-2. Pike got a piece of it.
You all right?
Nice job right there. Definitely out of the zone, but once he committed, good job there going to his back knee just to get a piece. Sometimes you gotta hit ugly. Watch how down into his back leg he gets just to catch a piece of the top of that baseball.
That is 8 straight sliders that Queen has thrown.
One-two. Another one. 9 straight breaking balls from Wyatt Queen, who fans 2 in the 8th and leaves a man aboard after the leadoff single. The Beavers lead by 2 in the 8th in Omaha. The Men's College World Series is underway here in Omaha, Nebraska, and the action continues all week with the championship series starting 8 days from now. For more info, go to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships.
That's a cool shot.
Just right in from outside to inside?
Just from the Blatt to the ballpark, that's a cool look.
Gotta run that thing all the way up to the booth. They can bring us milkshakes. Right? See it right at the bottom of it.
Yeah, Zesto right over there, opening up for this week. We got New Arm, who comes on for Louisville, down by 2, bottom of the 8th inning for the bottom of the lineup. It's the freshman, Louisville native, like Matt Klein, went to Trinity High School. Jake Schweitzer, who's a great story.
Yeah, he really is. Started the year, did not make the first trip to University of Texas. Didn't make an appearance till March 1st. And as the season has unfolded, the former two-way player has really developed into one of the most trusted bullpen pieces the Cardinals have, and pretty heady stuff. Through 3 innings in their super regional clinching game against Miami.
He faces Jacob Craig in the 7th spot. Now, Schweitzer got an enormous double play, part of those 3 innings of work in the 6th inning. A 1-2-3 double play to keep that game 2-2 against Miami.
Closed out a 1-run game against Vanderbilt. I mean, you talk about some big innings as a true freshman.
Bouncing ball foul from Craig.
Classic sinker slider guy, KP. They're still around.
Exist.
Yes.
Love it.
It is a ton of ground balls from Jake Schweitzer. Roger Williams, the pitching coach for Louisville, was saying to us this morning, it is real competitor traits, he said, with Schweitzer. There's a sinker.
Well, again, you wouldn't put him in those games unless you felt pretty good about his competitive traits, because that's as big a moments as a college pitcher could have, and he didn't blink. A fellow St. Matthews Little League alum.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Gotta get that.
Way back.
Gotta throw that out there.
Pulled on a line toward left center, and Zion Rose runs it down for out number 1. Saw the note flash across your screen. The winner of this one plays Sunday night, 7 Eastern, over on ESPN2 against the 24 win in a row Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Loser comes back Sunday, 2 Eastern, here on ESPN against Arizona for the right to stay alive. Here's Cannon Reeder, center fielder in the 8th spot. Got hit by a pitch, reached on an error by the shortstop Alisea his last time. And bounced into a double play his first time in the 3rd. The Beavers, the number 8 national seed. They were preseason number 7 in the country according to D1 Baseball. And they have been ranked no lower than 11th the entirety of this season. 47 wins coming in.
Pretty cool story. Team had to travel all over the country just to find games this year. And So find their way back to a place that they're pretty comfortable playing in.
See the handlebars on that mustache?
Yeah, impressive. Put some time in on that. Yeah, that did not happen on accident. That's pretty special right there.
Good breaking ball, 2-2 on Cannon Reeder.
Ball.
That's just down. Patrick Forbes was the starter in this game for Louisville. He was going toe-to-toe with Dax Whitney for just joining us. Awesome pitching matchup. Just down from Jake Schweitzer, who issues a one-out walk to the 8-man for Oregon State, Cannon Reeder. Hey, coming up tonight on SportsCenter after this game, Paul Skeens continues to make history. Rory McIlroy just makes the cut at the U.S. Open with round 2. And we'll show you some of the unlucky moments from sports on Friday the 13th. Michael Leaves, Trevor Scales here on ESPN and the ESPN app. We're going to get a pinch hitter here in the 9th spot. This is where Eason Talt began the game. Then Carson McIntyre came on against the lefty. And now against the righty, Dallas Macias. Very experienced junior with a football background. Kind of a heartbeat player on this team. Had a very good season last year.
I watched SportsCenter tonight. I got to see what Skeens did.
Just 5 shot. Just
another
Friday. Yeah.
As one does. Another check on Cannon Reeder at first. It's something like 15 starts, 19 earned runs this year for Paul Skeens.
And he's got a losing record, right?
I think so.
Tough sledding.
Macias pops this one up, foul and out of play.
Oh,
look at that.
Yes.
Did you?
Sell out.
Didn't get it.
Oh, Tommy Tanks look-alike giving up the body.
Yes. Hey, sometimes when a play presents itself,
you got to make a decision right now.
You got to make a decision. And my man was not, the Oregon State fan was not having it, by the way. No, sir.
I mean, the ball is the program.
Yeah, that looked like a fumble in a football game, the way they went after that.
Now he's tipping his cap.
Thank you. He didn't get it.
Curtain call, didn't even get the ball.
No.
What a cut from Scotty J. Popped up by Macias onto the outfield grass, and Zion Rose comes in for out number 2. So 2 down as the lineup turns over, and Jake Schweitzer trying to keep this 2-run margin to the top of the 9th inning. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 for Louisville, who was stymied by the man you just saw, Dax Whitney, for much of this night. Here's a vibing Trent Caraway climbing into the box. Fun personality who's been on a home run heater here in the postseason. Berkey mentioned the injury earlier to Trent Caraway last year. Caraway came in as one of the most highly regarded freshmen in the country. He was living up to it to start the season, but then he broke his finger in the middle of March and missed a ton of time. The middle finger on his throwing hand. Told us he was trying to drag bunt and just took a 2-seamer off the knuckle. Got him. They did. Schweitzer picks off Cannon Reeder to end the inning. 6, 7, and 8 coming up for Louisville, and the last hopes in this opener. Rose and Davis and Alisea. Let's see first if Mitch Canham wants another look at this. A late confab from the umpiring crew here.
Yeah, it looked like Reeder said, I think I may have got my hand in there. Ball definitely beat it.
Oregon State is challenging the out call at first base. The previous call is under review.
Well, he's definitely late, and did he tag him? Looks like he gets him on the forearm, but yeah, that hand's closer than it appeared first time around.
Well, watch the glove too after the swipe.
I think
it goes back and tries again, and anytime you go back and try again, it's usually a decent indicator that you missed him the first time.
I think he gets him, KP.
I don't know, man.
I think he catches him right on the forearm. Right there. I think the glove is there, right there. Care to change your opinion?
I am not going to change my opinion. No. There's
Shocking.
nothing you can do to make me do it. Nothing.
So you think he missed it?
I do.
Okay.
I do, and I'll tell you why. Because after, if you roll it forward a little bit, watch this, where he goes back. He goes back and reaches out. And generally, when a guy goes back and reaches out, it's because he didn't get him the first time.
I didn't feel like he went back.
You don't have to agree with me. You never do. I'm just telling you what actually happened in this case.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. You might want to put your readers back on. Not sure you saw that one clear.
Well, the other question is this: is there enough evidence to overturn? We know the bar we need to clear in society with replay review. Ruled out on the field. A divisive broadcast booth comes down to this.
After review, the call at first is confirmed. The runner is out.
Confirmed.
Oregon State loses the challenge. They have one remaining.
Define confirmed for me, Kyle.
Well, it depends on the situation where you're talking about, but
the call at first.
Oh, in this case.
Yes.
In this case.
What does confirmed mean?
It would appear that he was out.
Our Capital One rewarding performance. Louisville has threatened the last 3 innings, but has stranded 5 across the 6th, 7th, and 8th.
And it's a bullpen, too, that's really tightened up. I mean, we talked about it. Oregon State has just kind of done everything right tonight. It's been very clean defensively for the most part. That bullpen has come in, got a bunch of swing and miss, thrown a ton of strikes.
And the vibes are good for the Beavers, trying to get the final 3 outs in this one. And they turn to the right-hander, junior from Canby, Oregon, second year with the Beavers after a year of junior college, Kellen Oaks.
It's about 2/3 fastball, and it's going to be that fastball again. It's going to work up in the zone. Generally, 93, 95. Living there, the off-speed that he will go to most of the time when he goes away from the fastball is the slide.
Kellen Oaks has delivered 3 scoreless outings in the NCAA tournament. And the Beaver fans have liked it so far. And now can Oaks navigate 6, 7, and 8, starting with the all-ACC left fielder, Zion Rose. A strikeout, a well-hit flyout to center, and a bunt bid that Wyatt Queen handled in the 7th. Now Kellen Oaks. First pitch swinging, line drive to left. Past the dive of Gavin Turley. Zion Rose motors around second and is standing at third with a leadoff triple. A bullet and a gamble in left field.
Yeah, I just don't think it's the time to take the gamble right there. I mean, there's if that's a single, there's so many other things that can happen. You're going to force out Stone playing second base. I mean, you love the effort, so it's not an effort thing. It's just one where I just don't think you take this chance, Perky.
Well, you get below a sinker. 106, this thing just stayed in the air forever, and I kind of empathize with Turley. You probably at first doesn't think he's going to have a play on it, and the ball just stayed in the air forever. But, yeah, that's one of those you just have to put on the brakes and try to keep that ball in front and limit Rose to a single.
And now a very dangerous bat in Tag Davis. After the veteran Turley gambled in left. Tech Davis, a stud freshman, was third-team All-ACC with those 18 home runs, a Louisville freshman record. On the ground, into the shift, enough to score a run, and Davis is aboard. It's a one-run ball game in the ninth.
And now you're really questioning it, because what does that ground ball look like if there's a runner on first base, right? Instead, it's an RBI knock, and the Cards have the tying run on base with nobody out.
Pinch runner you see is Tanner Shiver, who is getting married a week from today. So Tanner Shiver, who is always in to run and can do so very effectively, has two big moments in his life happening in close order. He runs for Tech Davis, and now Alex Alicea, who can handle the bat, singled his last time, squares and takes ball one. Wheels start turning now for this Louisville offense. Again, this is Alicea, who is playing with a jacked up thumb. Has still delivered as he grits his teeth through this season. Runner goes, the pitch is strike. Weber's throw. Get him! Weber fires a dart to get Shiver, and there's one away.
Boy, and this is one of those where the throw's up the line, and I think the tag beats him.
That is a great tag. Great tag. I mean, this is where having a 6'5" shortstop pays off.
Boy, it's up the first base side. We saw this in the first game, and yeah, he is no doubt out at second base.
Louisville's challenging the out call at second. The previous call is under review.
Wow, and you go from bunting him over to try to swipe the bag, and you talk about flipping momentum quickly.
Well, okay, so we talked earlier about the size difference between Alicea and Arquette. If Alicea is your shortstop right there, I don't know if he can make that play. I don't know if he can go get it. He's probably got to go airborne to do it. I mean, it's an amazing advantage to have just the things that he can do at 6'5" and the way he moves that most other humans can't at that position.
Up and down quickly, and he snaps it on the backside, and that is one heck of a catch and throw there by Wilson Weber.
How do you feel about bunt versus stolen base attempt?
Well, I think, you know, Louisville's, this is what they do, right? Six in the country in stolen bases. Shiver, this is what he's known for as his kind of role on the team, but boy, it stings when you got a lead, or you got the tying run on with nobody out. Next thing you know, now you got nobody on base, and just changes the whole mood of the inning.
The call at second base is confirmed. The runner is out. Louisville is out of challenge for the remainder of the game.
It looked like Shiver was saying bad jump, and Weber's throw up the line. The way they teach it, you said we saw it in the game earlier today. Ben McDonald was talking about it. And yeah, bad jump.
Well, yeah, I mean,
don't have to go.
In modern day, oh, this is where he hurt his finger right there. Yeah. No, you don't have to go. But yeah, the ability to throw the ball either on the base or up the first base side is clearly the way to miss for catchers. The tag is going to arrive sooner.
And now 2-1 to Alicea is bounced left side at Iva Arquette. Quick release, wide throw. Alicea bolts for second. Weber drops the baseball and can't find it. Alicea takes off for third. Wow! Iva Arquette threw it wide. Wilson Weber backed up. Alicea got to second. Weber threw, dropped it, didn't know the ball was behind him, and Alicea is at third representing the tying run.
You can cross this off the list of things I've never seen right here, and it's going to start here in a second.
This is wild. Loses it and has no clue where the ball went. And Alicea goes from his belly to third base. He has no clue. Arquette tries to be maybe a touch too quick, and when Weber loses it, he has no idea where the baseball went, and it was right behind him. See Snyder bringing him on, and that's it. You talk about the momentum flipping right back. What a wacky inning. This ball just comes right out of the back of his hand. That is wild.
I mean, we got some chaos going on night one here in Omaha.
I mean, Adam Vrabel, first base coach for Louisville, is ducking because he thinks the ball's about to come right at the back of his head.
And it went backwards.
And it almost went in the dugout.
Yeah.
And then what happens if it goes in the dugout?
And then you get a base. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be at the same place, I think, in this case, but still, it's hadn't seen that one before. It is a very good time right there for Mitch Canavan to go out and just slow everything down. I mean, there's one out. So a variety of things that Louisville can try to do right here.
Well, they've got 4 comeback wins in the 9th inning or later, among the most in the country. Tying run at third for Kamayu. Neighbors on a line into center. And this game's tied at 3.
Well, that flipped quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, you felt like the air may have gone out of that Louisville dugout when base stealers erased at second base, but exactly the opposite happened. This year, Oregon State is 40-1 when they're leading after 8 innings. Now we're all tied up.
Unreal. And Kamayu Neighbors, who's had kind of a rough game, not no errors, but just he's been so close to making so many big plays. How about that big play? Coming up ready for his opportunity with a game-tying knock.
A kid who was a walk-on at Cal State Northridge. Team leader. He's 25 years old. 6th year of college baseball. Delivers the game-tying hit here in the 9th inning. And he can run. Lucas Moore, the batter, and an 0-1 from Kellen Oaks. Drifts outside. Moore's a blazer in the left-hand box. Zion Rose and the Cards have life. Again, this all started with Rose's laser into left that Gavin Turley dove for, and that ended up a triple for Zion Rose.
Yeah, the usually reliable Beaver defense has been awfully shaky here in this half inning.
2-1 on Moore. And a tale of 2 fan bases right now. Two and 2 on Lucas Moore.
This is a pitch you might see Neighbors go on right here. 2-2 count. You got a guy Moore that you know can protect him.
Not going. And a backdoor breaking ball is strike 3 called. 2 down.
Tell you what, credit Oaks right here for coming back in a spot that the place is starting to go nuts, and this is when the game can speed up on you pretty quick, and just freezes them with a backdoor breaking ball right there to get a big strikeout of Lucas Moore.
What a beautiful pitch. Moore only 23 strikeouts on the season coming into this ball game, but punched out in his last 2 at bats.
And now the junior catcher, one of the captains, Louisville's own Matt Klein. This one gets away from Craig, who recovers. Not far enough for Kamayu Neighbors to test him. Louisville has been so good when Matt Klein has been healthy this year. 18 starts before tonight at catcher, and they are 16-2 with him. Lines one foul. Dad Scott here watching. Matt Klein and the Cards have made it back to the Men's College World Series. Dan McDonald's talked about this program being in a valley over the last few years. Really tough moments on the road back here. And Klein's been right in the middle of it these last 3 seasons. The 1-1 from Kellen Oaks. Klein lashes it foul, 1-2. Kellen Oaks trying to get this thing to the bottom of the 9th. Weak dribbler, back to the mound, and Kellen Oaks throws out Klein. Iva Arquette and the Big Bats are coming up for Oregon State, and they will try to walk it off. It's 1, 2, and 3, but not before Louisville has tied it, improbably in the top of the 9th inning. And we are tied at 3. What a top of the 9th inning that was. Absolutely wacky here at the Men's College World Series. Louisville ties it, and this is 3-3 now to the bottom of the 9th. And Trent Carraway at the top of this Oregon State lineup will lead it off on this grand stage on the first day in Omaha.
Well, it was a wacky top of the 9th, but this is how you draw it up if you're a Beaver fan. 1, 2, and 3. And you need 1 to win it.
Trent Carraway has been crushing home runs in the postseason. Just back in the leadoff spot these last 2 games. First pitch from the freshman Jake Schweitzer misses in. This Oregon State team who has had to do it the hard way these 3 weeks of the NCAA tournament since they lost their opener. They've had their backs against the wall. Mitch Canham's talked about it after that loss in the opener against St. Mary's. He said, everything we've gone through this season, this must be the way it's going to happen. It makes for a better story, makes for better memories. Well, after that top of the 9th, now they're trying to walk it off. Carraway on the ground to third. Jake Monroe to Byram Hott for out number 1.
I'll tell you this, man, in this age where we got guys coming out of the bullpen throwing 96, 97, 99 miles an hour. You got a right-hander that's throwing about 90 that is not afraid to throw that 2-seamer in on their hands, and now he's got a chance to face one of the best hitters in the country.
In Iva Arquette. He's had a monster season for the Beavers after transferring in from Washington. I told you earlier, A.J. Singer's teammates said this guy is a Greek god in my eyes. Top 10 prospect, according to our Kylie McDaniel. Couple infield singles, and he fouls off the first one. Iva Arquette was in the portal this summer. Landed with an Oregon State team that's got 3 walk-off wins this season. Did it in Game 1 of Supers 1 week ago in Corvallis. That's up high. Iva Arquette told us he was playing on the Cape. Mitch Canham flew 5 hours to come see him. And then Arquette visited Corvallis, and he said, I just wanted to be a part of this winning culture. He said the goal was to get here to Omaha. Told us I made the right choice. Fouls that one away, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, he certainly did. And they felt his leadership qualities from basically the moment he stepped on campus. It's everything they hoped he would be as a player and as a person.
Line drive, center field, base hit, Iva Arquette. He squares one up, and the winning run is on for the Beavers in the 9th inning.
You got a sinker baller on the mound. You got to be able to get the barrel below it and not just beat it into the ground. And Iva Arquette lowers that barrel and smashes one into left center field. That is a tall man dropping the head of the barrel to the backside of the baseball, and exactly what the Beavers needed here in the 9th. Some action. Get Schweitzer in the stretch and see if somebody can't run one in a gap.
Well, here's Gavin Turley with a chance to atone for the misplay in left in the last half inning. The program's all-time leader in home runs in his career against the freshman Schweitzer. Oregon State has never won a men's college World Series game with a walk-off, despite all their history here. And this guy has been as good as anyone in program history with power production in the NCAA tournament over his 3 years. Turley on a line to left into the corner and all the way toward the wall. Rose cuts it off. Arquette gets the windmill. Alisei's throw, not in time. The Beavers walk it off.
And finally just wear it.
Just embrace it, young fella.
Who else but Gavin Turley scoring Iva Arquette all the way from first. And 2 Fridays in a row, there is magic for Oregon State in the NCAA tournament.
A young man who has his name in quite a few record columns in the Beaver history book now adds another one. Walk-off base hit to win Game 1 of the College World Series. What a special moment.
The Beavers win it, and we go down to Chris Button.
Yeah, with a very wet Gavin Turley. Take me through that at bat. What were you looking for?
Trying to hit something hard, something over the plate. Not trying to do too much, to be honest. Just put a good swing on a ball in the zone, so yeah.
How's the heartbeat right now?
It's off the charts. I can't believe I'm standing here. I'm so out of breath, but that was awesome.
This team always does it the hard way. They get back in the top of the 9th. What is it about this team, the makeup of it, that you guys have this resiliency?
Yeah, I think it's the right guys in the dugout. I think we've been doing it all year. Our backs have been against the wall all year. And I mean, I love these guys. I mean, yeah, nothing I wouldn't do for these guys, so yeah.
I'll let you take a breather and get a towel. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys.
Chris, Gavin, thank you. That was an incredible 9th inning in just about every way.
That was a fun baseball game to watch. Yeah. And saw, I mean, you know, it wasn't incredibly clean at times, but ultimately it was just a fun baseball game to watch, and you like to see it end like that. I mean, your best hitters right in the middle of the lineup coming through at the biggest time.
I feel for Zion Rose because I feel like if he doesn't try to cut that ball off and it rattles around in the corner, Arquette's definitely going to score. And he goes to the pop-up slide. The ball just scoots out of his glove, and the athletic Arquette able to take advantage of it. Rose cuts this thing off, but it just pops out. And then Arquette just puts the gas pedal down, beats the throw by a few feet. What a finish.
2 guys who had defensive miscues in the top of the 9th, Iva Arquette and Gavin Turley, atone in the bottom of the 9th. Maybe the 2 best players on this team, they get the job done, and the Beavers win it. Michael and Trevor have SportsCenter coming up next. For Chris Button, Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson, and our whole crew led by Bill Palladino and Scotty Johnson, I'm Mike Monaco saying thanks for joining us here in Omaha. Now we send you to SportsCenter.